Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Along with G. Bush and Tyvis Powell, I'm Adam the Bull. We've got Mike, Earl, Anthony, Steve, all with us today. A lot to get to, and a title sponsor today, Mike.
Yeah, today's show is brought to you by the Cleveland Monsters with the best entertainment in the land, great promotions and affordable tickets. Cleveland Monsters Hockey is the perfect outing for any family with recurring games like 1, 2, 3 Fridays, Monster Family Days, Blue Jacket games, and giveaway nights. There's something for everyone at Rocket Arena when the goal horn sounds.
Quick word of the Cleveland Monsters, real quick. Do you guys go to hockey ever?
Blue Jackets, baby. We on
You
a
go to
heater.
Blue Jackets?
Won 6 of the last 7. They
Look
won
at
last
Tyvis
night.
up on the hockey.
Won last night 5-3 against the Philadelphia Flyers. Ever since Rick Bowness has taken over as head coach, they won 6 of 7. They should be 7 of 7, but they made the decision to start Elvis Merzlikins when he was not feeling well. He gave up 2 goals. They made the switch. Jet Greaves came in, gave up another goal. They lost that game to the Senators. But outside of that, the Jets has been rolling.
Look at you, man. You are really taking this seriously. I'm impressed.
Well, I had to talk,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I had to talk to the coach today.
You
Every
might
Thursday,
as well be speaking Spanish to me.
Come
I
on
have
now.
no idea
Come
what
on
you're
now.
talking about.
Charlie Coyle played his 1,000th game.
Look at that.
I know.
You're
Got
on
his
top of it.
200th goal. Scored last night.
That's a true professional media member, folks.
Hey, man.
He's
I don't
doing
know
his
about
job.
the media member thing, but I'm just trying to make sure that in Columbus, you got to be able to know all of these things, and I got to keep my eye on all
I only
this
brought it
stuff.
up because hockey is not is off my radar, but
before
it's a fun sport to watch in person. And the Monsters do a great job of like entertaining the fans. It's a really good product at a very reasonable price. So I would definitely give it double thumbs up to people going to Monsters games.
TV doesn't do it justice.
That's right.
It's
better now.
You have to see it in person and see how fast and how physical
and how it's developing the play.
Yeah. I went to my first Blue Jackets game last year when they played, I want to say the Penguins, and I seen everything you could see in the hockey game in one match.
It's cool.
It was an unbelievable
Hockey
night.
got the best jerseys, bar none. They got the best jerseys, and the cool thing about it is, see, I live in Cleveland. We ain't got no professional hockey team, so that means by default.
Major League hockey team.
Yeah, Major League. They ain't got a Major League joint. Shout out to the Monsters, but that means I get to rock all hockey jerseys,
That's
all
true.
the above.
Well,
I
got me.
Well, you got.
By the way,
the Jackets gave me a jersey, so
do
I
you know
you got to.
that in the upcoming Olympics, for the first time ever, there's a black woman on the women's hockey team, and I'm pretty sure she's from Cleveland.
Yeah, WKYC did a great story on her. She's from Cleveland.
What is her name? Can you remind me? Do you have it?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, one sec.
If you could look it up.
I love that.
Awesome for her. That's amazing. So anyway, shout out. Let's give her a shout out since she's a local woman. We'll see if we can get the name while we go. But
Lalia Edwards.
isn't she from
Cleveland Heights?
Yeah, right. Because the Kelsey. That's how I heard about it. Because the Kelsey brothers.
they're flying the family.
They're flying. Yeah, or they're contributing to flying the family to.
Because they couldn't afford. They couldn't afford to go.
That's crazy that the country doesn't pay for the families to go. I mean, that's ridiculous. But anyway, another story for another day. Lot to get to, Mike. Everybody's fired up. I'm all pissed. I'm actually not feeling as bad about Todd Monken today, but I am so angry at one media member. I don't know if you guys have seen this clip.
Oh, is it don't tell me it's Emmanuel Acho.
Oh yeah, did you see this?
I did see that.
What a moron!
I didn't see it.
I
All right,
it.
are we getting to that? Let's get to that.
Yeah,
Then we'll play it. Then we'll discuss all the things involving the 24-hour reaction to Todd Monken. Our first topic today is brought to us by the Cleveland Monsters. And speaking of the Cleveland Monsters, the Lake Erie Monsters are back for one weekend. This weekend, January 30th and 31st at Rocket Arena. It starts with 1, 2, 3 Fridays and a Battle Together t-shirt giveaway courtesy of True North convenience stores for the first 5,000 fans. Then on Saturday, the first 8,000 fans receive a Zach Werenski bobblehead courtesy of the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. Enjoy returning players, themed jerseys, Calder Cup photo opportunities, and more in this step back in time to 2016. Tickets are on sale now at clevelandmonsters.com. All right, let's talk about Todd Monken. We reacted to the news yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was, in the moment, in the heat of the moment, considering the hire came at 10:47, and obviously we're live at 11 a.m. So we're going to get to the 24-hour reaction, talk about some of the positives of the Todd Monken hire. But before we do that, Bull, you mentioned the Emmanuel Acho clip that you could set up, and then we'll play.
I think even before that, Mike, Tyvis hasn't been here. So I think we should get his reaction maybe first to the hiring.
Ty?
No?
Well, my reaction 24 hours later is the same reaction as it was. As a matter of fact, let me be honest with you. My reaction when it first happened at 10:47 and I got the news, I did what everybody else did. I said, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, they did this. But then I started thinking about it, and I when we did the show Tuesday, I had kind of hinted at this. I said if they was to go with Todd Monken or Jim Schwartz, those are two guys that could hold guys accountable. I think that they're veteran guys. They don't take no BS. They straight shooters, and they tell it like it is. And I said that I don't know how much fun that players would have there, but the fact of the matter is on Sunday we will see them play well. Whether the Ravens offense have fun during the week preparing for those games on Sunday, I don't know. But on Sunday, those guys produce. Same thing with Jim Schwartz. I don't know how much fun the defense had during the week of practice, but on Sunday we've seen results. I'm expecting to see the same thing with Todd Monken as the head coach. I mean, I know that I don't know if he's calling the plays or not. I don't know what that situation is, but I think he's going to hold guys accountable, and I think that they might not have a ton of fun in Berea, but on Sunday, if you're winning, you'll respect the results in the process. So I tweeted out that sometimes you don't get the things you want, but you get the things that you need. And I think absolutely when this whole thing started off, we always talked about we want them to have a leader of men, guys that can get these guys in line. Because I think if you look at how we talked about how this roster would be constructed, it would be the guys that we seen last year. So they'll be in their second year, and there'll be a bunch of rookies because they're losing like 23 or 25 people or whatever the heck it was. So that means you're going to have a bunch of young guys that you need to perform on Sundays. Well, you better make sure that you got a coach that can get these guys to fall in line, understand that this is what it takes to win games, and it really can't be that much nonsense. These guys got to grow up fast, and Todd Monken fits that. Him and Jim Schwartz were the only two guys to me that fit that personnel. So I think that's why they went with that hire, and I'm not necessarily mad at it. I think that AB came out and said we want to focus on the offensive side of the ball, so you went and got the offensive-minded coach who's had success these past few years with Baltimore. And on top of all of those things, I said, well, if Shedeur is going to be the starting quarterback, the Ravens wanted Shedeur. They wanted to draft Shedeur. Todd Monken probably seen something in Shedeur, so maybe he came in and laid out a plan that would be like, you know what? I came from college. I was at Georgia with Stetson Bennett and Carson Beck, who, by the way, is draft eligible. Keep that in mind. But I was just in college. I seen how that game plan worked. I was successfully able to leave Georgia, go to the NFL, establish a pro-style playbook that got Lamar Jackson to play better and win his second MVP. Shedeur is not too far removed. We got to switch some things up. We've seen some things that we like that he does well in college that may work in the pro. I'm the perfect person that can link the two together to make a playbook that works for a guy that's going to be in his second year in the pro. So it's not that bad of a hire when you sit back and think of it. It's not the sexiest hire in the world. I will 1,000% admit that. But also my expectations was extremely low because I thought all the top name guys, Mike McDaniel, all those, Brian Dave, all those guys would not want this job because it's not the best job on the market, and those guys will get the higher profile jobs, and that's exactly what happened. So this was somewhat in the way of where I said it was going to be. I wish we had the graphic when I told you. I was like, one of the guys on that list is who they going to draft or going to sign. I think Monken might have been on the list. So
he was on the list.
I was right. I tried to tell y'all 2 weeks ago.
I was thinking after the show, I like to, whenever I do a podcast or a show, whatever, I'm sure you guys do this too. I think about a lot of, not every single word, but I think about what I said during a show is like, I like to reflect on what I talked about. Mm-hmm. And did I say anything that was unfair? Did I say anything that was, wrong, that I thought was wrong or whatever? Did I change my opinion on something, getting more information? And I was thinking about it, and one of the things I realized is when it comes to hiring a coach, in a way, it's like drafting a player. Like we all react to the draft. Like we did a live draft show, right? Mm-hmm. And we were all pissed off about Mason Graham.
By the way,
yeah.
when G. Bush said that he did, out of all the people, he did not want them to take Todd Monken, you should have 1,000% known that was going to be the case, because he said the same thing about Mason Graham.
That's true. But like, we reacted to it, and our reaction is based on a million things. It's based on mock drafts. It's based on position, all these things.
It's also in the moment.
It's also in the moment. It's the same thing. Now, do I feel like Todd Monken was a great hire today? No, but the more I thought about it, I said, well, we don't know. Like, the last older coach that got his first opportunity, Bruce Arians, got that opportunity on a crappy team in Arizona, a crappy organization, and eventually turned it around, and he did a good job. Now, that doesn't mean Monken's going to do the same thing here. But you got to give the guy a chance. So the guy's been around forever. You got to give him an opportunity. And then I was like, did I say anything that I thought was unfair? And I said, yes, I did. I wasn't giving him any credit for Lamar Jackson's success. Because, I don't love to give away credit from the player to the coach, just in general. Yeah. But also because Lamar had won an MVP before he was there. Cool. But to be fair, Lamar has played his best football with Todd Monken as the OC. How much credit, if at all, he deserves, I don't know. But the reality is that he's played his best football with Todd Monken.
Stetson Bennett in college, 2 national championships back-to-back.
And then I was like, well, I didn't say anything really stupid, so okay, I'm good, And then this morning, I happened to see this clip from a former football player who, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. It's Emmanuel Acho. What's the name of the show? I'm not trying to make fun of it, but I've never heard of the show.
It's the Speakeasy Podcast.
Speakeasy. Have you guys heard of this?
Well, he had a show on FS1 called Speak.
Okay,
and then, FS1 went through the whole scandal thing, so all the shows got canceled except for Coward.
It's him.
It was him, Shady and Joy Taylor, I believe.
And I believe this podcast is him and Shady.
Yeah.
And TJ Houshmandzadeh's on there live.
Okay. Yeah. So they went from the show to the podcast.
Gotcha. So they're doing this podcast, and this is what Emmanuel Acho said this morning, I believe, about Todd Monken in reference to Shedeur Sanders. Here we go.
Because any expectation for Shedeur Sanders under Todd Monken, I believe, will lead to disappointment. There is nothing about Todd Monken as a head coach that should get you excited. As an offensive coordinator, you could say Lamar Jackson had an MVP season under Todd Monken. As an offensive coordinator, Lamar Jackson had 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions under Todd Monken. As an offensive coordinator, you can make arguments under Todd Monken. Stetson Bennett won 2 national championships at Georgia under Todd Monken. But as a head coach, no. Nothing about Todd Monken as a head man gets me excited. I need to see who the offensive coordinator is going to be. That's what I need to see. But what I don't yet see, T, is how is Todd Monken going to command that locker room, command that group of men? And also, if I'm Shedeur or anybody in that locker room, why am I listening to Todd Monken? What have you won on an NFL level as a head coach? You're not even a head coach on an NFL level. So I don't even have expectations for Shedeur under Todd Monken, because I believe any expectations I would have, he would not meet. Because why am I excited about it, T? Why?
Gee, the last part of what he said is what just blew my mind.
That blew my mind, too.
That was just the fact that Shedeur shouldn't listen to him.
The fact that he listed that Lamar had an MVP season under him as a play caller. Stetson Bennett won 2 national champions as a play caller, and then he said, "Why would Shedeur listen to him?" Yeah, and I'm just like,
this is wild work.
What is he talking about?
I didn't see that yesterday. But if you're Shedeur Sanders, please
don't listen to him.
Don't listen to that man. That man gonna get you in trouble. When you was younger, they said, "Hey, listen, you stay away from him. He's nothing but trouble." That gonna get you in trouble. Shout out to Shedeur Sanders, who tweeted immediately, "Hey, let's go to work." That's the attitude I want to hear. Let's go to work. That's what everybody's supposed to get. Change is inevitable, right? You can sit here and talk about change, and you can, be emotional about it, and you can do this thing, or you can understand this is my opportunity to get my shot to do something. Todd Monken is the new head coach, and you list his resume. I would like to ask Shady and Acho, how is it that you can take a step forward and look at his resume and you say, I don't believe nothing about it, I don't even know if he's going to be a head coach, but yet still, you was probably on board with hiring somebody who ain't never called plays in their life.
Shieldhouse.
Right.
And Udinski. What are we talking about? The fact that this man has done it in college at a high level, the fact that he's been all over the place, whether he's with Les Miles in LSU, he was with Oklahoma State, he's been in the MAC, he's been with Eastern Michigan, he's done it at a high level with the Baltimore Ravens. And the one thing that I went back and watched, and I tried to, after everything is all said and done, is I wanted to get some information and dig into what his past is and dig in who he is as offensive philosopher. And one of the things that was so impressive to me in terms of what he said when he got hired for the Ravens job as coordinator, he said, our job is about developing. We are developers, whether you're a coach or you're a player. He said, the way I could tell that I know for a fact that you are developing somebody is how many teams want that player in this bidding war when you get to free agency. When you get to free agency, is that player that you drafted and you brought in, are people wanting to sign them? Do you have to make a tough decision with your organization? Like, we gonna give him the bag of money? If you get a guy to free agency and don't nobody want him, he said, then you ain't developed nobody. I said, ooh, I love that. He said, I view myself as a developer.
Todd Monken said that?
Yeah.
I like that.
And I was like, woo. And I love the fact that when he said he was a former receiver coach, he said, look, man, let me tell you about receivers.
That's what we need.
He said, you know what, people going to pay attention. He said, why would I pay attention, right, to what Todd Monken is saying? In the same interview, Todd Monken said, the reason you should pay attention to me is because when I'm installing, players want to know where at on the field am I going to eat? Where is it that I see myself being successful at? And players tune up and understand and really dial in when you tell them, hey, we're going to get you the ball right over there at the 16-yard line. They can't cover you in space. Players want to know what advantageous places you're going to put them in, and that's how you get buy-in. So I was like, wow, like he has a guy, and for young players, I love it. And also the last thing he said is, I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to tell you where you messed up at, and I'm going to let you know that whatever you thought was good enough ain't good enough for me. And he said, as long as you up front with the players and you show them on film how they can be successful, he's like, that's the things that you need to get people to buy in with. So I was like, look, his experience, the way he gets people to try to buy in, and the fact that he came in with a solidified game plan to what Tyvis was saying. There may be a lot of people that came in and said, I don't want no parts of Shedeur Sanders. There may be a lot of people said, I don't want no parts of Deshaun Watson. He came in and said, let me show you what I can do with a guy that can move around. Let me show you what I can do. 2 or 3 people mentioned the fact that he likes people to get the ball downfield. One of Shedeur Sanders' strongest suits and Deshaun Watson's strongest suits is throwing the deep ball. So we'll see. It's yet to be seen what they do. Him saying this stuff in the interview is not any way, shape, or form going to be the end-all, be-all. What you put on tape and what you do, you got to go out and win football games and win games. But when you step back a little bit from the emotional side of it and you look at his resume, you look at what he's talking about, it makes sense for where the Cleveland Browns are to have a guy like that as a head coach.
Now, the Browns still, the way they handled the whole situation, especially with Jim Schwartz,
Yeah.
they botched it.
Yeah,
and it's made the Monken hire look worse because of the way they handled it.
Yes.
The Browns hurt themselves. They did a terrible job with PR.
It sounds bad because it's like you casted this wide net.
Yeah.
And then it seems like you zeroed in on Shieldhouse. And then it seemed like it came down to Shieldhouse and Schwartz. And then if you sit back and think like, all right, let's say like Andrew Berry wanted Shieldhouse, but Jimmy wanted Schwartz. It's like y'all compromised and say, all right, we ain't going to take neither one. We're going to take Todd Monken and go straight down the middle.
Or you only hired Todd Monken because he's the only one that would accept Jim Schwartz as the DC, and then Jim Schwartz was pissed that he didn't get that.
It was a lie.
So none of that may be true, but that's just and in the long run, it doesn't matter. If he does a good job, none of it matters. But right now, the Browns look stupid again. But I just want to get back to the Acho comment for a minute because it really made – there's 2 things that happened to me in the last 24 hours that made me very introspective, right? Like I got a tweet from a guy, I don't remember his name on Twitter. This was when G and I were getting into it about the Shedeur making the Pro Bowl, right? Obviously, a lot of people were mad at me for that conversation. I shouldn't say obviously.
You called him a racist.
Nobody really called me racist. No, okay. I mean, not in this case, but maybe they did. I don't know. This particular guy said he wanted to punch me in the face because I hate Shedeur Sanders. I'm not mad about it, okay? I actually responded to his tweet, and we actually had a little back and forth, and he sort of apologized for saying he wanted to punch me in the face. But I was thinking about it. I was like, I'm trying to think about why are people, if you're not a Shedeur, if you don't say something positive about Shedeur all the time, why is it that people think you're a hater? And I thought about it, and I went back to Tim Tebow, right? And I couldn't stand Tim Tebow when he first came into the league. I hated him. But I realized later it wasn't that I hated him. It is that I found his supporters so annoying that I took it out on him, right? And so it got down to the point where it seems like Tim Tebow's actually a pretty nice guy. I kind of thought he was a phony back then, but I realized he is who he is.
One of my friends runs PR for his foundation and works really closely with him. Yeah. And genuinely says he could not be a nicer,
Like, I always thought it was nobody could be this good a guy.
He is,
he apparently is. And then I thought about it with Shedeur, and I said, am I taking it out on Shedeur because his fans are so over the top? And I was like, no, I don't believe I am doing that. But I think what's happening is, and I'm not falling trapped to this, but Emmanuel Acho makes this asinine statement, and he should know better. He played in the NFL. Would he say that about any other player? I don't think he would.
Well, his statement just doesn't make sense because it's like, basically what he's saying is then anybody that's an OC that gets a job as a head coach, you shouldn't pay attention to him.
Right.
That makes no sense.
Even if Tom Brady was a quarterback, he wouldn't say that.
He basically said never listen to a first-time head coach.
Basically.
It's
just so stupid. What he said.
And I said to myself, there are going to be people out there that are indirectly going to get mad at Shedeur Sanders because of this comment.
They will.
Right? Like they're going to take, it adds to the ammunition. So like when he says stupid things like that, how does that help Shedeur in any way? It's terrible advice. I'm guessing Shedeur Sanders is not going to Emmanuel Acho for advice. But but if Emmanuel Acho thinks he's giving Shedeur Sanders advice, that's idiotic advice.
But to me, Emmanuel's comments, what I don't like about Emmanuel's comments is that if you are a Shedeur supporter, like you're pretty much trying to make an excuse before the season even starts. And that part to me, I don't like.
It's a good point.
Because
I didn't think about it that way.
I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to do well this season. So let me go ahead and throw this out here right now. I'm not going to judge him because Todd Monken is his head coach. Yeah. And although he's had a ton of success as an OC, now that he's a head coach, there's no way Shedeur is going to have a good season under a first-time head coach. That's just impossible. That just never happens. So, like, to me, he's building the excuse before the season even starts, just in case Shedeur doesn't perform well. And to me, that's weak. Because for me, I would look at this and say, because I was victim of this. I said 3 years ago when they hired Todd Monken, when Baltimore hired Todd Monken, I said, Lamar ain't going to have no good season because it's his first time dealing with, like, it's so hard to install an offense and then for it to look good that first year. It takes some time. And they went out and had like a top 5 offense. So it was I was wrong. Yeah. So like with this situation with Shedeur and Todd Monken, it's not like I would imagine Todd Monken's going to be pretty much like Kevin Stefanski. If he ain't calling the plays, he's going to have something to do with calling the plays for sure because he was successful with it. So why would you to me, you build it in your mind. Shedeur is going to fail this season already, and that's just terrible. Like as a Shedeur supporter, like,
I think it's a little more nefarious than that. Emmanuel Acho don't bring that. He don't even believe that. I'm just telling you, he don't believe that. Let me tell you how this game works, man. I told people, all the time. I said, bro, between now and the next time they're gonna play some games, it's gonna be hot outside.
Thank God.
It's going to be hot outside. So what are you doing to generate some interest from now until when it's hot? If you can't, like, you got to have something to talk about. And the reality with Shedeur Sanders is, look, he's going to be the hottest story from now until whenever. And so anytime the Browns do something, you don't see it. Todd Monken as a hire would not be on nobody's radar unless Shedeur Sanders was here. It would be a
minor.
That's true. Guess what? When the free agency come out, they're going to be talking about receivers. Did they do Shedeur Sanders a disservice for not getting on receivers? They're going to be on the draft. They're going to be covering the draft. You got to create some content.
They get enough offensive linemen to protect Shedeur Sanders.
And
he's good for business.
He's going to roll it. So when I look at stuff like this, I look at Emmanuel Acho. I'll be watching people's body language. I'm like, come on, man, you don't even believe that like that. And by the way, Shedeur is way smarter than that. This is a guy who was a 5th-round pick. This is a guy who has already gone through a bunch to even get himself onto the field and be in a position to even be led to be a starter in 2026. Why would you do something stupid like that and just sabotage your career? Bro, the coach is the coach. Whoever it is the coach. You're going to take your marching orders. And that goes for everybody. Like, not just that goes for, it's Myles Garrett, it's Jerry Jeudy. When you ask for change, get ready for it. Change means that you're going to have to be a little uncomfortable. Yeah, it ain't the same coordinator. Yeah, it ain't the same playbook. Yeah, the routine is a little different. But like Tyvis said, sometimes you need a shakeup, and sometimes people too comfortable. So guess what? The Browns didn't do good enough. Change. This is a referendum. Elections have consequences, right? And they've elected a new official. It's up to you to figure it out because the NFL stands for not for long. So we're gonna see. Hopefully, everybody lock in and everybody get ready to go. But that was nonsense.
You know what's funny is that we sit here. A lot of people say, like, today these athletes can't handle like a hard-nosed guy. Like, that coaching style doesn't work. And players don't respond. I think that's BS.
I agree.
I think that's BS. I think that they do respond. I think they do want that because it shows that they care. I mean, Mike Vrabel?
Yeah.
Mike McDonald?
You guys both did the hands up.
Mike McDonald? I mean, like, those are two guys that's going to tell you what it is. Like,
McVay's no slouch either in that.
Yeah, like, so it's like, I don't necessarily think like, they like, you can't talk to those players. Like, they can't handle it. No, I think that's a lie. I think that, especially if you've been where the Browns is now, like, you want somebody to come in and inspire something.
And they are young. They're moldable.
Yeah. All right, Mike, let's move on to our next topic.
We're going to get to our next topic. Real quick, though, I did put up a poll. We got 800 votes. I said, do you feel better about the Monken hire now than you did 24 hours ago when the news first broke?
They said no.
79% said they feel much better about it now than they did a couple hours ago or yesterday. So,
and in the end, whether you felt good or bad, like you can talk yourself into anything.
Exactly.
Right? Only time will tell if it's a good hire.
We got to see them. They're going to play them games.
Find out. We're going to talk more about the development of quarterbacks under Todd Monken coming up in about 15 minutes. Before we do that, we got another topic to talk about. This one involves Jim Schwartz. Before we get to the Jim Schwartz topic, guys, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow us on all our social media channels. We got some, I haven't even told you guys yet, we're going to do some behind-the-scenes Olympic content in the office coming up. So that's going to be something we have on our social platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Find us there. Follow, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All right, guys, we know as the show progressed yesterday that it seemed like Jim Schwartz was going to stay on, then he wasn't going to stay on. And now it looks more and more likely that he will no longer be the defensive coordinator from the Browns. This is the latest update from Albert Breer on that situation. Albert Breer tweeted out, Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz has been telling his assistants and friends that the only way he was staying was as head coach for a couple weeks now. Cleveland wants him back. Maybe Todd Monken can draw him back in, but that's no sure thing. Again, he's still under contract, so that has to be figured out. But according to multiple reports, Jim Schwartz had alerted the Browns that it's either me or I'm out. And then last night, Myles Garrett, the start offensive end for the Cleveland Browns, the defensive player of the year, presumably, put up this Instagram story. If you guys haven't seen it, it's worth taking a look. But just simply with no comment attached to it, the classic meme of, I'm over this stuff.
By the way, our guy Xavier P had a problem with Myles and Garrett doing this. Do you have a problem, Myles Garrett? He said he should have kept it internal and not put this out publicly.
You can do whatever you want.
I was about to say.
Right.
I think when you put that like look, so Myles Garrett obviously is going to have an affinity to Jim Schwartz.
Yes.
He had his best year under him. He's been here for 3 years. The defense, he put him in multiple positions to make plays. We've seen middle linebacker Myles Garrett. We've seen the crossover dribble Myles Garrett. Obviously, he's going to have an affinity, and that's his man. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to be there no more. So I don't even take it as, like, I'm over this. I take it as, man, that's sad to see my dude go. So, okay, he'll be all right. Like, hey, you broke the sack record. There's a new coach. There is new change. But at the end of the day, like, it's okay for him to express that. I mean, it's just how he went about doing it. So we got the picture.
Myles,
So the question I want to ask you guys, though, just like we did with Monken, 24 hours, we've had it simmer, we've been able to think on it. Knowing all what we know now, based on what we learned from noon yesterday to 12:29 or 11:29 this morning, Ty, do you think the relationship is salvageable between the Browns and Jim Schwartz? And if you're Todd Monken, you think you'd even want Jim Schwartz back after the display we've seen from him in the last 24 hours?
Anything salvageable. As bad as things get, anything salvageable for sure. Could they? I mean, I know he's gonna have a lot of suitors. I mean, think about it. He could go to San Francisco or Buffalo. He could probably be in the Super Bowl next year with those two teams if he decided to be the defensive coordinator there. I think that relationships do matter in this situation. This is his guys, so that plays a part into it. You know, it's kind of hard to walk away from guys, especially when you have so much production. You know, the thing about Jim Schwartz is, like, he didn't say much, but like it was like an understanding between him and his players that like the offense ain't gonna give us nothing, so we got to be perfect. And those guys played they butt off for him. Like they played lights out for that man because that was the expectation that he held them to. And sometimes it's hard leaving that and trying to build that relationship with a whole new group of guys. So, you know, can Todd Monken talk to him? Sure. I think he should definitely reach out to him and see if they could, you know, hey, man, listen, I need you here. I would love for you to stay, be the DC. You know, you and I can work this thing together, help each other out here and stuff like that. This is my first time as a head coach. You've been a head coach. You know, we can really be a partner on this thing and really, you know, take Cleveland to a place that they've never been, you know, championship game. Definitely with the front office, though, like, I get it, like, because like I said, I've been in different situations where it's like my beef wasn't with the team, the coaches, it was with the front office, where it's like I just didn't like the way they handle certain things. And so Jim Schwartz, I totally understand where you're coming from in that situation. Is it worth walking away from these group of guys? And I think that's the question that he got to ask himself and find the answer to. And, you know, if they want to throw another zero at the end of his salary, I mean, that would definitely help as well, because maybe he felt like they did him wrong. And the only thing that can make people feel like you didn't do them that wrong is you throw another zero behind it. So, yeah.
I'm not sure it's salvageable. Now, I'm not going to say anything is anything. I've learned that as men, as long as you don't take my money or you put hands on me or say something about my family, you can have a conversation about certain things. Now, I think this circumstance is a little different because you got a new head coach in, and obviously Jim Schwartz felt a certain type way. Now, I'm not going to, I'm one of the people that said I had Jim Schwartz 60-40 in getting the job. So when he didn't get the job, I was like, okay, well, they must have already talked to him about staying on as D coordinator. But it seems as if they didn't do a good job of communicating that to him, because he seems like he just came in, was ready to take the job, and then got on Twitter and found out that Todd Monken was the new head coach. So again, I don't know exactly how it went down, but the communication seems to be lacking there. I would have rather you have a conversation with Jim up front, say, listen, we're interviewing these group of candidates. You are in the mix for it. However, in the event that if you don't get this job, what do you feel about staying on?
But they could have asked that.
He could have asked.
And he could have said, yeah.
He could have said,
I'll stay.
And then when it happened,
it was a different feeling.
It's just like, hey, tell me, you ask your wife, hey, tell me the truth. Mm-hmm. And then she tell you the truth, and you be mad.
Yeah.
Don't get mad, bro.
The problem is, and maybe this is misreporting, but the reporting was consistently that part of the deal was they wanted to keep Jim Schwartz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you made that part of the deal, you got to make sure that part of the deal is locked in. So the Browns, like, once they decided to hire Monken, before any word got out, they needed to go back to Jim Schwartz, even if they had talked about it with him, which it seems to me, as what you said, they didn't talk to him about it. But even if they did, and he initially said yes, and then in the end he got pissed and changed his mind, like, you have to go to him and say, hey, Jim, we're going to announce tomorrow that Todd Monken's the head coach. I don't know that you go this far, but basically say, hey, listen, whatever it takes to keep you. We want you as our DC. We'll make you the highest paid DC. Nobody's going to step on your toes on the defense. Like, I would still try that. I think it's going to be hard to repair this bridge here. If I were Jim Schwartz, I would be very offended.
Yeah.
I would be annoyed.
I totally get it.
But I will say, if it's correct, the way he handled it was not business savvy.
Not at all.
Like, you can't crash out and
walk out.
Like, you have to in his mind, it was almost like that's why I need the information, because in his mind, I wouldn't have expected a seasoned veteran
Right.
to act like that.
Yeah.
Like,
it sounds like he just got the news like everybody else got the news.
Right.
So
It seemed like he expected to be the head coach.
Like it almost seemed like just the contract went dry. Like, okay, we just gonna go through the preliminaries and we get this, and then he just saw it. So that's why I'm waiting. I really would be anxious to hear that.
If you believe the reporting, and like I said, Breer put out there that he'd been telling them for weeks, if I'm not the head coach, I'm out.
Yeah.
If you want to believe that, and I tend to, because multiple national people have put that out there.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how we got to the situation where yesterday the Browns were still, according to their reports, trying to pair him with someone else. If he had told them point blank, I'm not sticking around.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
And I heard my guy Nick Wilson said, well, it's a good job, so he's going to want to stay. I thought you made the best point. The best argument for him staying is the relationship with the players. I think that's the only thing that might keep him here. Your money, fine. Well, the Niners would pay him a lot of money too, but
your taxes hit harder out there. I showed you my check.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's true.
Yep.
But you're right. That relationship with Myles Garrett, with Denzel Ward, with these guys, that's the only thing I think that has a chance to keep him here. Because the fact that it's a good job, first of all, it's only a good job for him. Because whoever the next DC is, they're not going to get credit for the defense because Jim Schwartz already has the credit.
Yeah.
If it goes down at all, he's going to get blamed.
Mm-hmm.
But for Jim Schwartz, you say it's a good job. Why? If he didn't get this head coaching job, he's never getting a head coaching job.
Probably not.
Right? So, like, the fact that you think of a good job as something that might be a stepping stone to a promotion.
Yeah.
At this point, Jim Schwartz has got to realize, well, that's out the window.
The fact of the matter is this. The Browns botched this whole thing. You know why? Because back in, I don't know, I'd say probably like early November, you could have just fired Kevin, made Jim Schwartz the interim.
You're right.
Gave him the whole rest of that season to see how that season turned around, and then you would have had more data on it.
You're right. But it's a great point. Usually I say, what's the point of firing him? But in this case, there would have been.
Yeah, if you knew you was firing him anyways, you should have just fired Kevin right there mid-season and let Jim run it from there. You could have got a good old runway of what it would have been.
Some tells me it wasn't even about the runway. Like, when you see Jim Schwartz, he's a finished product. You know who he is. Like, at that point in time, you know what Jim Schwartz's strengths, weaknesses, what his temperament is. Like, so, like, for me, it didn't even seem like they needed a runway to give him an audition period, because I think if they really liked him, they would have just hired him. I feel like they felt that when you looked at it, I looked at the two resumes, and when the Browns came out and said their whole focal point was to make sure that this offense got off and running.
Yeah.
And when they said that at the end of the season, I looked at Jim Schwartz and said, well, they love him over here. But I started to look and think, like, okay, if you want the offense to get off the ground, and you already got these guys defensively over here, like Grant Delpit, Myles Garrett, Denzel, all those guys, Schwartz, which is easier to find? Somebody that already helped these guys they're elite. It don't take much to say, hey, Denzel, go guard that dude one-on-one. Hey, Myles Garrett, put your hand in the dirt.
Why, you saying that DC doesn't matter?
No, what he's saying is it's harder to find an OC than a play caller than to have a defensive play
And I think the Browns, for whatever reason, even though Jim Schwartz apparently had made it clear, they had convinced themselves that Schwartz was going to stay. So in their minds, they said, well, why would we make Jim Schwartz the head coach? We need offense. We already got Jim Schwartz for the defense. Why, like, if we hire a defensive guy, now we still have to find that offensive guy.
Because you was
which is interesting, because I'm sure when they interviewing these guys, they probably asked, what's the list of coordinators that you want to bring? They must have not liked that list.
And I think also, like, when they asked him, and I think he came in, and I actually think in my mind this is headcanon, who knows. But I think they really was interested in Jim Schwartz. And I think that they were really, really considering those two. But I think Todd Monken came in and laid out an offensive game plan as to what he thinks that he can do to improve the offense. And they couldn't pass it up. Right. They said this guy has experience with young players in college. We're drafting a bunch of young players. He has experience with Lamar Jackson in a really good offense. He's coached the MVP
is their offensive
before.
line like that?
They just brought their offensive line coach in.
No, I'm saying Baltimore's offensive line, like players, was they?
I think it was okay.
They had a good center, good tackles. Guard play was iffy. That was the report coming out of last year.
The offensive line coach was here. Did
Yeah.
we talk about that already?
Well, he's here now.
He's here now.
He's back.
Yeah.
But he had been here when Joe Thomas was here.
So,
okay.
So I think they
Yeah,
just
he's with Mangini and them.
I think he was with Mangini,
He was
Shermer,
here from
and Shutt.
09 to 13. George Warhop, by the way,
Yeah.
who was the Ravens' offensive line coach last year, is now the Browns' offensive line coach. He's the first hire by Todd Monken.
So, yeah,
He's
he
been
was
in the
with
league forever.
Mangini. Shermer was here 11 and 12, right? And then Shutt in
And
13,
Shutt was
I believe.
13, yeah.
yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
My brain's a little scrambled these
So he
days.
made it through 3 different.
Yeah, that's
regimes.
impressive.
And to this point though, Bull, like
Yeah.
I wanted Schwartz to be here, but a lot of people gave me pushback, or a lot of pushback was, hey, if you got another coach in mind, don't you want that man to be able to put his staff
Absolutely,
together?
and I was one of those people
Right.
that said that. So in the end, if Schwartz leaves, okay, I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world. My beef is not necessarily that he's leaving.
It's the
My
process.
beef is how they got
I
got
agree.
to this point.
I agree
Could
with
not
you.
agree
Right,
more.
Yeah,
right.
But I said all along,
Because you hired a person that's best for the job. If Jim Schwartz leaves with that, so be it.
Yes,
like, that's
right.
part of the deal.
The head coach is more important than the coordinator. That's the bottom line. You got to have the
100 of 100
you
times.
got to
was
have
just-
the right head coach.
It was messy.
But it was messy.
It is
It's like-
messy.
But even though I wanted the head coach to pick their DC, my hope was that they'd want to pick Jim Schwartz.
Right,
But
yeah.
they shouldn't be forced to pick Jim Schwartz. And it seemed like Todd Monken,
Probably
and
was
why
like-
wouldn't he be,
yeah.
was okay with Schwartz.
And Jim Schwartz took his. I think in that moment, Jim Schwartz was like, "I'm taking myself." You got to think about it. At that point in time in your life, I think he was dealing with 2 things. One is the fact that he had been there and done a good job, and he thought he was so close.
Right.
And then the second part I think he was dealing with when he crashed out a little bit was the realization, like you said, that probably was my best chance to get another chance to be a head coach.
Right.
And so that kind of died with that move. Now it's like,
Yeah.
now he has to internalize it and wrap his head around, like, because he probably would thought, like, one day, if you're a head coach in the league and you get fired, and especially if you feel like you're a great coordinator, you feel like at some point in time you're going to get that opportunity again.
Right.
And when it don't happen, it's like.
And when another guy who was a coordinator,
Right.
he was good as a coordinator, but so were you, and you did it here,
Right.
and they promoted him from
Right.
outside the organization over you.
It feels
and
like
that
they
feel-
didn't appreciate you.
That's
It,
right.
it do. It does
Yeah.
come on. But
I
you,
see what-
again, you throw a 0 behind there.
That could, you know.
I got one last question, then we'll
Yeah.
pivot over to the QB development part, because I know a lot of people are
Right.
excited about that part of the Todd Monken hire. But in the reporting we've got, and once again, you can pick and choose who you want to believe, which ones are real or not. Mary Kay and everyone else has said that Todd Monken would be open to keeping Schwartz, right? So that means in the interviews with Todd Monken, keeping Schwartz was at least something that had been brought up because they felt comfortable, he was comfortable in keeping Jim. According to Albert Breer and others,
Yeah.
Schwartz was saying, I'm not staying unless I'm head coach.
Yeah.
Where do you think that miscommunication came into play? Was that something that AB and Haslam refused to believe?
There's
where
no-
do you think that actually the fraction in what is being reported from both sides came into fruition?
I just think there's no way that you sit down with this man for 3 weeks, interviewing this man, and it don't come up as, if we decided to go a different route, would you still be the DC?
Right.
And I think, like I said, I don't know. It's so weird because it's just the way he responded to the news that makes it seem like he didn't know that
Like,
this was
why
going
are
to happen.
you asking Todd Monken, will you keep Jim Schwartz? If Jim Schwartz has told you, I'm not staying,
Right,
Todd
it's-
Monken gets hired.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any clear answer to how that happened.
The whole communication part of it is just, I don't know. I don't understand how you could get mixed up like that.
You know, sometimes, I guess, I had somebody get really angry at me over the last couple of years about something. They were mad at me. When they first confronted me on this, I thought they were joking. Because I was like, I hadn't done anything that I thought would get this person angry. And they were really mad. And when I realized they were being serious, I was like, oh my God, what did I do to offend this person? I don't know.
What'd you do?
I don't want to get into it, but it was miscommunication, right? Like, I hadn't really done anything, but they had perceived something I did as disrespectful. It was not intended to be disrespectful in any way. I didn't realize that the person, but then they let it fester. They didn't really talk about it, and then eventually confronted me, and they were very angry.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I could see is like, maybe Jim Schwartz wasn't 100%. The only way I'm trying to defend the Browns a little, which I rarely do, Jimmy, but like maybe Jim Schwartz wasn't perfectly clear. Maybe he was telling people he knew. He's like, I'm not taking. And maybe Jimmy it was like, you know what? We're paying him a lot of money. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. When you're a billionaire, you're like I can throw money at it. It's going to be okay. Maybe he didn't realize just how serious this was to Jim Schwartz.
I just think he was hurt.
Yeah. If I'm going in there,
he's hurt.
I'm not staying unless I get the job. I would just say that. Like, if you don't hire me,
maybe he didn't make it clear. That's the only thing.
Like, if you say that, like that's right, and then they still hire Todd Monken, then okay. All right, then that's like a spit in the face.
Yeah, right.
The people the closest to you have the ability to hurt you. I've gone in. and I'm not gonna say where it was. I've interviewed at places after I've interned somewhere for a whole year. And we've gone into the interview process. I'm thinking it's about to be a process to like get a job or entry level or something.
They say this what Shedeur did in his interviews in the NFL.
Went in there, pulled up, and they was like, "Hey, no, this really wasn't no interview. We was just gonna go over your resume. We was gonna help you. We was gonna help you get your resume to turn it into other people."
What?
Right, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
What?
That what?
You done got dressed up and everything. Walked in there.
Mind you, I had already graduated college. I was already out of college.
We helping you with your interview
and your
resume.
But you know what? It was the first time that I was in an interview, and everything in me wanted to be like, I wanted to it was wild. I had to show some level of restraint and professionalism because at the end of the day, if you crash out before you even get your foot in the industry, how you gonna work? But I will say it taught me a lesson. You never assume, and you got to do your mental preparation before you go in every interview, and you got to think worst case scenario. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
They don't give me the job. What's my next plan? Contingency.
Right. Now, in fairness, last thing is that all these things about Schwartz being mad, he didn't say them publicly.
No, this is
what people are saying.
Reporting,
so it wasn't like he decided to put it out there. Clearly, he was ticked. At least one person knew about it. I can't blame him. I did hear somebody today say, well, he shouldn't have done it before he got another job. This is not going to stop the 49ers from offering him the DC job.
Not at all.
So. No. All right, let's get quarterbacks now.
Yeah, let's talk about a little quarterback development, guys. Todd Monken's the new head coach of the Browns. Cecil Schwartz, who does the Ultimate 216 show with Earl, played for Todd Monken at 2 different stops in his NFL career. They're going to do an Ultimate 216 show this afternoon. So if you want to hear some insight into who Todd Monken is as a coach, the person he is, no better person to listen to than Cecil Schwartz. He'll be with Earl the Pro this afternoon on the Ultimate 216 show on our YouTube page. All right, guys, let's talk about how Todd Monken has developed quarterbacks in his past. Monken has been around for a while. He started in 2016. That's where we'll start this progression, and took Jameis Winston as a young pup and led him to 3 seasons. He threw for 4,000 yards in his first season together. Got hurt later in the progression, but Jameis early in his career was under Todd Monken. Then he went to the Browns, and in 2019 with Baker Mayfield, Baker threw 22 touchdowns and over 3,800 yards. In 2020,
how many
he went
picks
to Georgia.
For Baker that year? 21. Was going to intentionally ignore that part, he went to Georgia after that.
You crazy.
And took Stetson Bennett, who was a unrecruited, no-star walk-on, and turned him into a 2-time national champion winning quarterback, 2-time national championship game offensive MVP. Tyvis has won a defensive championship MVP. You see the trophy on our set behind us. Stetson Bennett has 2 offensive championship MVPs. And then he went to the Ravens, and under his tutelage, Lamar Jackson had the highest passer rating of his career under any offensive coordinator he's worked with. Under Todd Monken, it was 109.5. Under Greg Roman, it was 98.1. Under Marty Morningweg, it was 84.5. Lamar won an MVP under the Todd Monken-led offense, threw 86 touchdowns, just 8 interceptions. So he's shown a propensity to get the most out of the quarterbacks he's been able to work with. Now, they have Shedeur, they have Deshaun, they have Dylan Gabriel on the roster. Jeremy Fowler was on ESPN Cleveland yesterday and said, and I quote, "I expect the Browns to add there," speaking of the quarterback room, "I think the shakeup will be there regardless if it was Monken or someone else." So we don't exactly know who necessarily will be in the quarterback room moving forward.
Well, but he did mention 2 guys.
He mentioned Malik Willis and Ty Simpson, but those are the second highest rated draft prospect and the top free agent quarterback. Right. So whatever. Whoever's in the quarterback room, and G, I want to start with you on this one. Do you trust Todd Monken to be able to get the most out of whoever he values and sees as the QB1 of this franchise moving forward?
Based on his level of attention and detail and how he values development, I think so. But we must say this too. It's just not him. The players have to do their part.
Yeah, of course.
The players gotta come in, lock in, and figure it out in terms of what he wants to run and how they want to move. But I do think that he'll get the most out of them, and I think he'll have a generally positive attitude in coaching these guys up in his room. Obviously, you go down his track record. I don't know if Gunnar Stockton was still there, but you had him. You had other guys at Georgia that played very well. I like what he talked about with the run game. He also went on to say, like, in terms of his run game, if you can't run the ball, you're done. You can't run it. And running the ball doesn't necessarily mean that it's married to a personnel grouping. You can run the ball and be physical, but with 4 receivers on the field. It's just about the commitment to do so. Now, some Ravens fans will laugh and joke and say, he should have been giving Derrick Henry the ball more back in the day. So that's part of the play calling, and play callers going to have those ebbs and flows. But in terms of what he's looking for, I love the fact that he talks about he needs a quarterback that's going to make plays out schedule. He needs players that's going to be a playmaker and ability. And he talks all the time about if you got that key attribute and key trait, that he can work around some other things and get what's best from you, from your skill set. So if I look at Shedeur Sanders, he throws the ball downfield, throws a beautiful deep ball. He's been shown he's more mobile than I think a lot of people give him credit for. And he's a guy who, he's going to incorporate RPOs and different things like that. But I think it's a good marriage. By the way, I actually think Deshaun Watson and Dylan Gabriel will look better with Todd Monken and what he's able to incorporate into this offense. In terms of Deshaun Watson being a shotgun type dude, Dylan Gabriel is shorter, smaller stature, so he'll be in the shotgun more. But I think more importantly, I think his attention to detail, holding people accountable, and being creative and tailoring game plans to their attributes, Tyvis, I think is going to make them look better.
You've been watching Deshaun throw that ball. You seen that zip?
Hey man, I just I've been in my film bag.
Hey,
the zip is his quarterback rating as a Brown.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Was George Pickens at Georgia when he was there?
Yeah, I heard. Was he?
Isn't George Pickens a free agent?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, but the Cowboys are probably
He could be
franchise.
franchise tagged. He ain't hitting the market.
Wouldn't that be something? They would never do that. They would never do that.
No.
I agree with G, though. I think that
He was at Georgia for those 2 years, Tyvis. 2 of his 3 years.
wouldn't that be something? No, I can see for sure when you look at the quarterback room, obviously I've already spoken on the fact that he wanted Shedeur, the Baltimore Ravens to draft Shedeur. So there is something.
We don't know that he wanted them to draft Shedeur.
I mean, he's on the staff. He's offensive coordinator. So I'm assuming
we don't know.
I'm assuming he was in on the conversation.
Okay, go ahead. Oh.
Come on.
Well, do you think he's offended then that Shedeur said, "Don't draft me"?
No, because he probably understood the exact reason why Shedeur said don't draft me.
Because he was not going to play behind Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
well, he probably
would have. Yeah, he would have.
He played. Yeah. I mean, not play, right?
Yeah. No, but I think that when you look at just the development of not the development, but how he's elevated Lamar's game, and obviously Derrick Henry makes a big a big difference in the run game. But you got two young guys that could potentially be that. Not saying Shedeur has the athleticism of Lamar Jackson. That's crazy talk. Yeah. But to say that you've seen Lamar become a better passer over the past couple of years under Todd Monken, that means something. And I think Shedeur already has good things when he makes the right decisions with the ball. He actually has made some throws that's made you stand up out of your chair. So you can get a guy that can go in there and fine tune it, obviously help him see the game in a different way. You could have something there. And if Deshaun Watson ever wants to go back to 2020, this is probably his best opportunity to do that, because you're coming in, you got a new guy that's everybody's starting ground zero. There is no favorites. Everybody is on the same level. It's about who can come in there and get the playbook right and can make the reads and make the throws the best during OTA. So, therefore, it's an open competition between three quarterbacks. Three guys are going to go in there every day and try to be the best, that by the time we get to the season, there will be so much development, because competition breeds development. And I think having those three guys compete, I don't want it to be like it was last year where this is a clear open 4-quarterback competition. Don't want it to be that. I think it will necessarily is really just 2 guys that's competing for it, which it should be. And I think those 2 guys have a good relationship within each other. But when you get on the field, you want to compete. So you're going to try to be your best every day. And I think both guys can grow from that.
So a couple of things. There's no chance it's going to be the same 3 quarterbacks in my mind. I'll be stunned beyond belief.
You think they're going to ship?
Well, Fowler said there's going to be a shakeup to the quarterback room. What that means, I don't know. Now, it doesn't mean he's definitely right. Maybe
they're going to get Carson back.
I don't know what they're going to do. He suggested they might draft Ty Simpson at 24. Would you have a problem with that if they drafted Ty Simpson at 24?
Yes.
Of course.
You'd have a problem with it?
Yeah. A huge
I
problem.
don't love it.
I would. You know what? I would have to see how March 11 shake out.
That's the combine?
Let's start a free agency.
Oh, free agency.
I need to see what happens during that. You know,
I just don't think Ty Simpson's that good.
Yeah,
but
well,
look.
And to me, with Malik Willis, it's like I'd rather just see Shedeur Sanders get a chance than I don't think Malik Willis is any more likely to be a good starting quarterback than Shedeur Sanders.
Well, the funny thing is, G just said that Todd Monken talks about a guy who's got to be able to improvise and make plays with his legs and stuff like that. Malik Willis definitely do that.
Yeah, but I just want to go back to something you said in the beginning. I think it's kind of disrespectful. You said it's mostly about the players. You know, you can talk about the coach all you want, whatever. You said, and I agree. I think it's disrespectful to players when we give too much credit to the coaches for how good they are. And I think we do that too often.
I just did that.
Todd Monken, should he do a good job with the quarterbacks? Yes. Is he going to help Shedeur Sanders get better? He should. Mm-hmm. But if Shedeur Sanders becomes a legitimate good starting quarterback in the NFL, it's mostly going to be because of him.
Right.
Not because of Todd Monken, but everything factors in. Certainly the coach factors in. The system factors in. The talent around you factors in. You know, how you slept the night before. Your habits off the field. All these things factor in.
I feel like it's like 70-30. 70-30 player coach.
Well, what about talent around you?
Well, no, because with the coach, like they do help you see the game and play faster. Like,
okay, well, you would know.
Yeah, like, for example, like as a safety, like me in high school, you know, learned the game a different way. But when I got to college and I met Chris Ash, like he helped me see things, so it made me play faster and see things faster. Like, so the coach does matter into your development and how well you play, because they got to put you in position to make those plays.
Okay.
It's like everybody talks about system quarterbacks, like Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy. Oh, he wouldn't be able to do things if he went somewhere else. Well, then, if that's the case, then that coach is calling the plays that he know he can handle and can execute. So, like, that has a lot to do with the coach.
Different coaches work well for different guys.
Right. So,
Chris Ash might not be as good for another player.
Right. So, it's like I can't necessarily just say, like, the coach don't have nothing. Like, it's like 70-30.
Can I give you the biggest example in my mind from a quarterback perspective of that?
Sam Darnold.
No, well, he fits in. But Jared Goff. I mean, Jared Goff started his career with Jeff Fisher. Goes to McVay, and McVay said, I don't think he's good enough. He got better under McVay, but did not become the quarterback he now is.
Jared Goff. Oh, yeah.
It was Jeff Fisher.
Right, okay. And then
he got drafted by Jeff Fisher.
And now
Dan
McVay,
Campbell.
Jeff Fisher,
and then goes to Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell. Yeah. And he got older as a player, but he was with McVay for a couple years. And McVay's as good of a quarterback teacher as I think any of us.
No offense, Mike, but I think that's actually a bad example because he played better with Dan Campbell than he did with McVay.
That's my point. Different coach. I'm not saying it's necessarily. I'm saying different coaches connect with players in different ways.
Yeah, right. I got you.
I'm not saying it's a knock on McVay. McVay's in a tier of his own. I'm saying, for whatever reason, Jared Goff and Sean McVay, the way they saw football, the way that they wanted to execute their vision of an offensive game plan, did not mesh as well as it has for him in Detroit.
Well, he had a level of success with McVay, better than Jeff Fisher.
They went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. Like when you're a coach, that's why I always say, you know, you got to be a people person as well as a person that can understand the game. Because when you're a coach, you are a motivator, you're a teacher, you're a psychologist. You have to be. And sometimes a coach will tell you messing up because of your technique. Sometimes a coach will tell you messing up because you in your head. Sometimes the coach will tell you, hey, listen, that's on me. You thinking too much out there. Let's simplify the game so you can play faster. Yeah. So they doing, and sometimes as a quarterback, you might just be seeing ghosts at that point. Like you so shell shocked. So the coach would come and say, hey, listen,
Yeah.
you look like a deer in the headlights. Let's figure this out. So a coach is all of those things. So when you get a guy that's really tapped in and is able to talk to you on a different level where he gives you what you need at that moment, that's a really, really great coach. And for quarterbacks is more important because for quarterbacks, it could be confidence, it could be timing, it could be rhythm, it could be not understanding what the defense is giving you. So I think all those things are very important when you get a young quarterback and they get somebody that's going to pour into them and say, and more than anything, and I'll say this is, sometimes your coach has to believe in you. It's different from you being like, I'm going to compete. It's at some point in time, somebody going to have to say, here's the guy. And when somebody tells you you're the guy, it puts something in you.
Yeah, we'll
different.
see. I don't think they hired Todd Monken specifically for Shedeur Sanders. I don't believe that at all.
No, for his offensive prowess, I think.
It may help Shedeur Sanders and it may help other guys, whoever ends up being the quarterback. But I don't know. You guys seem more convinced than I that it's going to be the same 3 quarterbacks next year, and I just don't. I'd be shocked if that's the case.
You think they're going to trade Dylan Gabriel?
I don't know
Atlanta?
what they're going to do.
I think I
don't know.
I think all the
go
moves,
back up Penix and Kirk Cousins.
I do believe that they may take a late round flyer on somebody in the 4th or 5th round.
Carson Beck.
See, I don't. That's. I think they're going to, and I could be wrong, but I think they're going to either get a veteran or surprise us and draft a quarterback higher. And I really hope I'm wrong about both of those things because I don't like any of the veterans they could get. And again, I'm not an expert, but I don't think any. It seems like none of the
What's a
quarterbacks
veteran
are
that
high.
they can get outside of Malik?
Mac Jones they could trade for.
I was talking about free agents.
Here's
I don't know, or trade. And again, let me make it very clear. I don't, unless there's some guy that I'm not thinking of the known options, draft and free agency and trade, I would rather not get any of them, but I think they will. That's just my feeling about it.
I don't feel like anybody that they can get in the draft or anybody they can get in free agency is better than the first 2 guys they got on their roster. I don't think Malik Willis is even better than Deshaun Watson.
I wouldn't go that far personally, but I would say I don't think it's clear that any of those guys are better. They might, and like a Malik Willis hasn't played enough either. Could he be better than Shedeur and Deshaun Watson at this point?
Possible.
He could be.
I'm not saying he is or isn't.
Yeah.
Malik Willis, the one game that he had the big game against,
Yeah.
was against Baltimore in front of Todd Monken.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's.
First of all, I don't think he has anything to do with that, or maybe a little. Who knows? But Todd Monken's been around the league long enough. He's not making decisions based on one game.
I'm just saying that the one game he did play well happened to be in front of Todd.
Yeah, I don't think that matters. No.
And another reason I don't think they're making a move is first of all, I look at it from a number of circumstances. The investment, the financial capital that you have, and people say, let's go get a veteran. To me, the Cleveland Browns is like, yeah, we already got a veteran, one of the most expensive ones in the game, and he's sitting on the second on the roster. Like, why would we give $20 million to go get another dude?
Yeah,
that's
the part
I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you'd have to pay Malik Willis $20 million. If you did, obviously they wouldn't do it. I don't know why anybody would do that. But if you could, like, for example, trade for Mac Jones, I don't think his contract's that expensive.
No, because he got 1 year left.
Right.
But then you had to tag him or sign him the next year anyway.
I mean,
you freeing up money by him.
Who knows?
But they said that the price tag is high. So you giving up either the second round pick or
I'm not giving up a second round pick. I think that'd be crazy.
Pick.
I ain't giving no picks up and no money for none of them.
Yeah.
No money, no picks.
Like trade quarterback Sam Darnold going to the Super Bowl. It's a hot topic.
Who would have thought that he went to the Super Bowl before Allen and Lamar?
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, Mike.
We got Aditi, so let's bring Aditi in after a quick word from the Cleveland Monsters, who are the Lake Erie Monsters this weekend. They're back, and for 1 weekend only. This weekend, January 30th and 31st at Rocket Arena. It starts with a 1-2-3 Friday and a Battle Together t-shirt giveaway, courtesy of True North convenience stores for the first 5,000 fans. Then on Saturday, the first 8,000 fans receive a Zach Werninski bobblehead courtesy of the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. Enjoy returning players, themed jerseys, Calder Cup photo opportunities, and more in this step back in time to 2016. Tickets are on sale now at clevelandmonsters.com. And with that, Aditi Kinkhabwala joins the show, and Aditi's a big fan of this Todd Monken hiring for the Browns. What's up,
You
Aditi?
are? That's not what you... That's not what you told me on text. You said he was terrible.
Hey,
no,
What? I did not. Stop with the
I'm
clickbait.
kidding. You didn't say that. I'm 100% kidding.
Listen.
I'm like not even on for 3 seconds. And
I'm
you're already
kidding. Come on now.
Bad job out of you, bro.
Can you have some empathy? So
Yes.
I am in the midst of virtual schooling hell, which I should show you what my office looks like right now.
Yeah.
My 6-year-old. So when I was a kid, if you had a snow day, you had a snow day. That just meant you had a snow day.
Yeah.
And you had days built into your schedule, like maybe 3 of them. And if you didn't use all of them, you got out of school 3 days early.
Right.
And if you needed a 4th snow day, you had to go an extra day. But in this town, that's not what they do. They do this thing called virtual schooling, which is such a scam. Every half an hour, you're on a Google Meet with your classroom for 10 minutes, and then you're off. And I got 2 kids in 2 different grades. They're on completely different schedules. Someone needs to monitor all of that. I will give a shout out. I do have a good story though about my son. But anyway, so I'm losing my mind, Bull. Like, don't be mean to me today.
I was just joking.
Of all days.
I'm 100% joking, folks. She didn't say that.
I do think that there are. My feeling on this is that you've got to give everybody a chance, right?
Sure.
Like before we write somebody off or say that this is not a good choice, let's think about what are the good choices, right? So what are the good factors, the pros? What can you feel excited about? So I said this yesterday. Okay. Todd Monken is not a guy that's going to sugarcoat anything. He is extremely straightforward. He is very honest. He is not going to coddle or hold hands. He is not afraid of superstars. I was telling Tyvis about this. We had the Ravens late in the season, and Lamar Jackson, who had this whole litany of injuries, was not practicing 1 day a week. And Monken didn't like that, and he had no problem publicly, repeatedly saying that he didn't like that. So you appreciate that he is not going to cow down to a superstar player, number one. Number two, I remember that when John Harbaugh first hired him, he made such a big deal of saying that Monken is not a slave to any one scheme, that he's not a system guy. And Harbaugh felt that in Lamar Jackson, he had a quarterback who wasn't a system quarterback. So why would I bring in a coach that is slave to one scheme? And you can look at Todd Monken's career, the people that he has worked with, the players that he has worked with, the offensive success that he's had in so many different places. Clearly, that counts for something. I was told that his offensive plan, what he's laid out, is necessary, a way to move forward, is something that really appealed to the decision makers in the Browns building. So there's that. He's also a guy that's familiar with the quirks of the organization. He was there. Do you like how I phrased that?
I did like that a lot. That was well done.
Every organization has quirks, to be fair.
Yeah,
but
true.
go ahead.
Aditi, when you was coming on, I was excited because I was like, man, we have not spoken to you since like the Great Exodus. Like, there's 3 jobs specifically: McDermott in Buffalo, Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, and obviously Harbaugh in Baltimore. Which one of those were you most surprised about? Because those jobs were not on anybody's radar. And all of a sudden, one day, boom, 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 boom. Well, it might not have been on my radar, but what were your thoughts on those moves and kind of the AFC getting reset with coaches?
McDermott, I think, was most surprising to me. Harbaugh, we'd been hearing for a month-ish that this was a possibility. And maybe that was actually most surprising to me. I don't know. It's hard. They were all to some degree. Mike Tomlin, there had been quite a bit of talk during the season. It felt like the patience for backing into the playoffs and then getting blown out was maybe not where it was even 5 years ago. The Mike Tomlin one was least surprising to me. I'll say that.
Okay.
Because, again, I've always said that he would write his exit, but it almost felt like he was worn down by a lot of it. The vitriol, the constant fire Tomlin, the drumbeat, the very clear lack of appreciation for who he is or what he's done or what he managed. Some of it obviously of his own making, but still, you could see him saying, I'm over it. I don't need to put up with this. My wife doesn't need to get these messages constantly. So maybe that was least surprising. And then the other two equally surprising.
Aditi.
It's so hard. It feels like the world moves so fast, G. Like that feels like a lifetime ago already. I mean, Jesse Minter is talking to everybody right now. Yeah. I'm watching videos of Jesse Minter. John Harbaugh got exactly what he wanted in New York. He's talking about Andy Reid and doing exactly what Andy Reid did in his second act. We're so far past that.
Crazy.
G.
Fast forward.
It do seem like that was like 2 months ago.
Right. Yeah.
Aditi, what is your gut feeling right now with the Browns defensive coordinator situation? You think Jim Schwartz is back, or do you think they have to find somebody else?
I mean, it is shocking to me.
Crazy.
It is shocking that anyone would think Jim Schwartz would not be unbelievably ticked off to have not gotten the head coach job. I mean, you could have written that in stone that if he didn't get that job, he was going to storm out of the building. So not surprising at all. He is under contract. My understanding is you cannot trade a coordinator. He would either have to be allowed out of that contract by the Browns, which the Browns did do for Kyle Shanahan back in 2015. So maybe it is possible. Or he'd have to sit out a year. Or can Todd Monken have a conversation with Jim Schwartz and come to some sort of agreement? Could Jim Schwartz feel strongly enough about the players that he has, the men that he is working with, Myles Garrett, who obviously is a generational talent, the success that he's had, does he want to continue to build on that? And he will still be a candidate next year somewhere if he continues that success. Does Todd Monken make an argument to him that makes Monken feel that he can trust Schwartz, that Schwartz is indeed all in, and that Schwartz will accept and not feel like he's settling, but say, okay, we're in this together, we can do this. They're very similar personalities. And Bull, I think I said this to you. I mean, they're both alphas. They are both alphas. Yeah. They are both acerbic. They are both incredibly straightforward. It could be really interesting to see that. So I'm not, until I'm told that it's definitely not happening, let's have some hope. Maybe it can happen.
2 things I wanted to follow up on.
Go ahead,
Yeah, 2 things I want to follow. I thought that let's say the Niners wanted to hire him, couldn't they make him assistant head coach / DC, and the Browns couldn't stop him because it's a promotion, or do I have that wrong?
I believe that varies from team to team. Potentially, that is how it goes. It's sort of, if an offensive coordinator is not a play caller in one building, he can then go to be an offensive coordinator where he does get to call plays, usually. So perhaps that is a way to circumvent the contract. That is something that the Browns would perhaps have to let him go do.
And the other thing I wanted to follow up on was, yes, I like before we got word yesterday that Schwartz was pissed, I was like, he's going to be pissed. He's not going to want to stay. I almost think, and maybe I'm crazy, maybe it wouldn't have mattered because the way you said it, you're probably right. I almost think if I were Schwartz, I'm getting inside his head, because if I were him, I'd be pissed too. I almost think it's worse that it's a guy who's his age, because at least if they had hired Udinsky or Shieldhouse, if I'm Schwartz, I could rationalize, listen, I get it. They want a young guy that can be here 15, 20 years if everything goes perfectly and is here forever. And I know the young guy's not going to step on my toes, and they're going to let me run this defense. Whereas they hired a guy who's kind of like, as you said, same personality, except he hasn't been there in this building. They promoted a guy on his level from another team instead of their own guy. So I almost think it's worse.
On a different side of the ball. On a different side of the ball.
Yeah.
On a different side of the ball. So let's not forget that piece of the puzzle right there. And is it the offensive side of the ball that has created the last 6 years, Kevin Stefanski clearly had a way that he wanted to play football. We saw Baker Mayfield have success there. We saw him adjust as Deshaun Watson came in. We saw Ken Dorsey forced on him. We saw that flame out. We've seen him try to run different offenses with Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders this year, all trying to play to different quarterback strengths. They have not established the offensive identity that they had early in his tenure, early in Stefanski's tenure, that they want to adhere to or stick to or grow from. So clearly that was something that was very important to them. Let's see. I'm not, I'm remembering Jim Schwartz say to our crew a few years ago about how much he wanted to be a head coach again, and how teams are so wrapped up in this idea of the next young, new, hot thing when these guys don't necessarily have experience. And Schwartz was openly talking about how much he's grown from the first time he was a head coach. Kevin Stefanski always gave him a ton of credit for how he was a resource to him, and how he didn't have an ego about saying to Kevin when he was a head coach with the Lions and he had handled a similar situation incorrectly. And so he clearly feels that he's ready. He clearly feels he would be better at it. There has to be a piece of him that appreciates that the Browns didn't just go for the shiny, young, inexperienced toy, but said that they do indeed value experience.
Yeah.
And so that might be a nice sea change, because for a few years, all we were seeing were these young coordinators who insisted that they were going to call plays, and who knows? So, and this go round, we've seen a lot of guys get second chances.
Aditi, I know you've covered the entire AFC North for a while, and you're now on the sidelines with all these different teams, and you get some one-on-one conversation with different coaches throughout your travels. What can you tell us about Todd Monken? I know you said he's straightforward, no nonsense, he's not going to sugarcoat anything, but have you ever had an experience with Todd Monken in a one-on-one conversation that you could kind of give us a little insight into the man that may be taking over this Cleveland Browns organization?
I mean, he's funny. He's really, really funny. I'm trying to think of a clean story. I'll tell the John Harbaugh story. So John Harbaugh's brother-in-law, Tom Crean, was at Georgia, and Harbaugh had fired, I guess, Greg Roman it was, and was looking for a new offensive coordinator. And as I told you, he was the hot thing at the time was hire somebody from the Shanahan, McVay, that whole tree. And again, like I just said, he felt he didn't want a system guy because he doesn't have a system quarterback. And so he wanted to talk to Todd Monken. But he instead called his sister, Tom Crean's wife, and said, hey, do you know Todd Monken's wife at all? Do you think Monken would be interested in talking to me? So he had his sister call Todd Monken's wife, and Monken's telling us this story where his wife is on the phone with, I think it's Joni Harbaugh Creed, and his wife is repeating, would Todd want to talk to your brother? And Todd was so funny in the background, like miming for us, and in the background he's waving at his wife like yes, like say yes as loud as you can without letting Joni Harbaugh hear. And I just remember thinking, and this was before his first ever game as the offensive coordinator for the exactly.
That's funny.
And he was like so real about it, so down to earth, so it was great. He was great. He was honest about all of it. He has no problem making fun of himself. He has no problem poking fun at anybody else. He drops a lot of F-bombs, so the Browns' social media account should be ready to like dump.
You had me
if they're live streaming press conferences, then they've got to have their finger on the dump button or whatever you call it, the bleep button.
We know kids will be damaged by the F word. They'll never be able to recover from that.
Aditi, do you anticipate it being a quarterback shakeup in the quarterback room? You think they're going to mix things up, or you think they're going to roll with the three that they have on roster?
Well, I think that is clearly a decision that will have to be made as Todd Monken comes in and he and the general manager, Andrew Berry, sit down and discuss what they feel they have and what their possibilities are, and how healthy Deshaun Watson is. I think it's still, what is today, January 29th? It's still a bit early to have that conversation. Are you telling me you're ready to roll with one of those three? One of those three is what you feel the franchise needs?
I'm not convinced any of the guys are, for me personally, are the answer. But I don't see anybody else the Browns could get as the answer either. So I personally would give Shedeur Sanders a shot. Because I just like, what's the better option? I don't again, I could be wrong. I don't see Mac Jones as a better option, and I'm not giving up a high draft pick to get him. I don't see what's his name from the Packers.
Malik Willis.
I don't see Malik Willis as a better option. I'm not saying they couldn't be. I'm just saying I don't think is a clear better answer. If there was, like, if there were a no-brainer quarterback that they could get in the draft, I'd be 100% on board with it. Because I'm not convinced about Sanders either. But he's already here. But I don't think they feel that way. I think they're going to get a veteran in the mix.
I don't think that you can, quote unquote, waste this defense. You know, one of the greatest things about Jim Schwartz's year is the way he got that unit to bring it every single week, even when the offense wasn't upholding its end of the bargain. And to motivate a group like that, to create a sense of pride in how they play when they really couldn't control outcomes, really is a credit to him. I will say that. There's a lot of draft capital. So, and still, remember, you are very early in this process or there's still a lot of time in assessing the quarterbacks that are coming out and how strongly you feel about them. I will say our crew had the Packers week 18. We spent a lot of time talking to Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love about Malik Willis and his growth. I mean, you can just watch where he was when he came into the league to how he's playing right now. It's night and day. And great coaching. You were just talking about Sam Darnold before I came on. Great coaching can make all the difference. Sam Darnold, I remember when we had him with the Vikings last year, and he talked about his experience with the Jets. He talked about that awful year with the Panthers, and then he goes to San Francisco, and he openly told us that Kyle Shanahan was teaching him things, showing him things, watching film with him in a way that he had never been taught or shown or asked to ascertain. And he said it completely changed him. I was talking to John Lynch about it a few months after that. And Lynch said, well, credit to Darnold that he put in the work. He would come in early, leave late, wanted to learn. It's apparently the same thing with Malik Willis. So he's not the same player that you saw coming out in the draft a few years ago. I will say that. I'm not saying that he's definitely the best option, a great option. I'm just saying keep an open mind, because I think we write off quarterbacks really, really quickly, especially in this day and age. And it's something my analyst, Adam Archuleta, and I talk about a lot. Coaching feels different on both sides of the ball right now. It's really hard for me to ascertain why. I think some of it is the appetite for the detail and the discipline is maybe a little bit different in players today than it was 10 years ago. And I think the revolving door nature of coaching makes a lot of coaches more interested in the next job than perhaps the process and where they are. So, and sometimes when you're trying to angle for another job, you think a little bit more about what's sexy and how you get a job than how you win. And I'll give you another example. Kevin O'Connell and our crew had this conversation. Kevin O'Connell got the job in Minnesota on this idea of being really explosive. And with J.J. McCarthy, you just had to run the ball a lot. You had a rookie quarterback who, I mean, he was for all intents and purposes a rookie. And your offense just wasn't as sexy. And you had to find ways to manufacture first downs and points and wins. But he never would have gotten a job off of a year like this year, running an offense like this. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you get what I'm saying.
It does.
If Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders are still both on the roster and they are, competing and they're just in the room, there's going to be a lot of talk, a lot of conversation. That's what the Browns will be. There'll be a topic of conversation every single week, whether we talk about training camp or whatever. How do you think Todd Monken and his straightforward approach will handle that There's some clips going around about how he talks about the media and talks in the media. How do you think he'll handle, having those two, I guess, polarizing figures in the same room?
I mean, I think he'd be great for it. I think he'll be straight up with the media. I don't think he's all of a sudden at this stage of his career suddenly going to start dancing the diplomatic dance and hedging. So buckle up. It should be fun.
Aditi, great stuff as always. Thanks for giving us some insight there.
And thanks for coming on my radio show earlier today.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, my pleasure, Tyvis. Call anytime. Did I make you more excited about Arthur Smith? You feel a little better?
Yeah, I was good with it. It was. I had similar feelings about that hire as I did with Todd Monken. Where like when I initially heard it, I was like, no. But then I sat back and thought about it more, and I was like, you know what? I can see the vision.
I wish you could make me feel better about Zach Wilson, Aditi. He sucks. I mean, Zach
I keep
Taylor.
calling him Kyle Wilson.
Zach Taylor.
Oh, Zach
I'm
Taylor.
sorry.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
Zach Taylor.
you're saying
I'm
Zach
sorry.
Wilson.
I forgot. I hate him so much. I don't remember. I'm saying his name wrong. All right, Aditi. Thank you. We love you.
Zach
We'll see you
Taylor
later.
has Joe Burrow and two of the best wide receivers in the
Yeah, they haven't gone
on
to the
the
playoffs
planet.
3 years in a row. with
Who's
that.
winning the AFC North next year?
Guys, I'm sorry. I think I'm cutting out. I'm overloading right now. Too much virtual school. Bye.
Aditi. All right, by the way, I think
You only want that on the record yet.
here's some coaching news involving the Browns that everybody's going to be excited about here in Cleveland. The Rams are hiring Bubba Ventrone, per a league source, to lead their special teams.
And he'll probably go to
Bye,
the
bye,
Rams,
Bubba. And
probably
do
go
great,
to
right?
Rams and have the best special teams.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Cleve TA
Probably was gonna
tweeted,
happen.
and Shav, if you don't follow Cleve TA, you should follow Cleve TA, but he goes, how do you improve the 31st ranked special teams unit in football? You hire the special teams coach from the 32nd ranked football team in the NFL.
Aaron
So,
Wilson, the reporter, breaking that news.
yeah,
Go
we're going to
ahead.
dive a little deeper into the Bubba Ventrone. I got an idea to dive a little
do a
deeper
deep
into it
dive
tomorrow.
into Bubba
But,
Ventrone
we'll
tomorrow.
get to that.
Come on,
But
man.
guys,
My
we have
dude's
spent the
diving
last
in another
3.5 hours of UCSS talking Browns.
Yeah.
And there was a big game last night in Cleveland that did not involve the Cleveland Browns. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers in a second.
He's coming home.
If you want more Cleveland Browns talk, though, we mentioned this earlier. I want to plug it again. Cecil Schwartz played for Todd Monken at 2 different stops during his NFL career. He's going to join Earl the Pearl on the Ultimate 216 show later this afternoon on our YouTube page. So if you want some insight from a player who did actually play for Todd Monken at 2 different stops in the NFL, nobody knows him better than Cecil Schwartz. Make sure you guys tune in this afternoon for the Ultimate 216 show with Earl and Cecil. All right, guys, the Cavs and the Lakers last night. We'll talk about the report about LeBron coming home in a second. I want to start with the game itself first, though, because the game was an absolute one-sided BTA butt-whooping. The Cavs dominated essentially the entire game. It was close in the first quarter. It was actually close at half. And the second half was just utter one-sided domination. The Cavs got contributions from basically everyone who played. Donovan, Jalen, Jarrett, DeAndre Hunter had a nice appearance. Guys like Naquan Tomlin and Craig Porter Jr. also chipping in. They've won 5 in a row for the first time this season now, Bull. They've won 12 of their last 16. They're playing as well as any team in basketball as they get ready for a 5-game road trip. But, G, to you, what was the most, other than the LeBron stuff, which we'll get to in a sec, your biggest takeaway from last night's 30-point victory over the Lakers?
Man, I just felt like it looked like one of them things where you got the Evan Mobley, calf sprain thing, and then it just seems like Evan is out for a little bit. And then they were able to come into this game, and usually this was a game that you could feel sorry for yourself. And LeBron, I've had problems where LeBron comes back into Cleveland, and LeBron just smokes him.
Yeah,
like he goes
he
for
was
40.
terrible last night.
He played garbage yesterday.
Awful.
He was horrible yesterday. And for the first time, I looked and said, "Oh, these dudes, the Lakers, y'all not that nice like that. We was not doing no come home celebration." No. I'm a big fan of Jalen Tyson.
He's
listen,
him, isn't he?
Listen to me.
Hey, I'm telling
26
you,
and 6.
I walked away yesterday. I said, you know what? It is a core 4. Jalen Tyson's the 4 with take Allen out.
I think it's a core 2.
Yeah, it's a 2.
I'm about to say them
2-man game.
Yeah.
Jalen Tyson. First of all, At the beginning of the game, I was watching Luka do his thing, and then he stepped off and messed his ankle up, and I was like, okay, we're going to run away with this thing. But the game stayed kind of close. That second half, that three-point line was on fire for the Cavs. They hit like 3 of them in a row, and I was like, it was from everybody. I mean, D, Wade, Merrill, Tyson, everybody. It seems like the first time in a long time that everybody – DeAndre Hunter – came back alive. It was like everybody on that roster pulled their weight for the first time. And if that's the case, like you don't stand a chance. It was like what we seen last year with the Cavs, like where anybody that came in, we was like nobody for the Cavs is having a bad season. And it looked like that last night to where everybody that contributed to that game came in and actually did something and was scoring points and things like that. And my boy Naquan Tomlin, hey. With the windmill.
Hey, put him in. Yeah. Let me just start. Let me start this. Let me start this. NBA, let me tell you something. You need Naquan Tomlin in the dunk contest, and Jalen Tyson needs to be in the three-point shootout. Those two need to be added. I don't know who else is in it. You need both of them. I love the fact Tomlin got a 5-minute. Go watch it on YouTube. A 5-minute of nothing but dunks.
Listen.
5-minute highlight reel of nothing but posterizing dunks.
I don't know what he's on before the game, but that man got more energy than anybody on that court. That man be everywhere.
He's drinking surges, bro. He's drinking.
You know what really stood out to me, guys?
LeBron 6 turnovers.
Well, LeBron was just terrible.
Yeah, he was.
But the Cavs were great on the boards yesterday.
Without Mobley.
Right. They out-rebounded the Lakers 46-36.
Well, the Lakers are terrible at rebounding.
Yeah, all right, but the Cavs have been terrible at rebounding.
I'm just saying,
not like
they're
this.
Better without Mobley. They're objectively not a better rebounding team without Mobley. Objectively not a better rebounding.
They are.
I wasn't saying they're better without Mobley.
You started saying without Mobley they finally won a rebounding battle. I'm saying they're
no. Tyvis brought up Mobley. I didn't say anything about
Tyvis.
That wasn't my point. I was just saying they rebounded well yesterday. It had nothing to do with Mobley.
Defensive already because I said you were
You're projecting.
There you go, Bull.
Mobley
there you go. That's that projection. There it is, Bull. That's the way you hit him with that.
My bad.
That's all right. I mean, it did feel like a game from last year, like where, as you said, everybody was part of the mix.
Yeah,
one miss.
And Jalen, in a season that's been mostly miserable, Jalen Tyson has emerged as like a borderline. I'm going too far saying borderline all-star.
Because he put the stats up in to make you look crazy.
Yeah, he's not an all-star. He's playing as good as you could possibly have imagined.
Yeah,
for what we're trying to do.
This guy, I love guys that fill up the box score, not just with points, right? I like that he gets 6 rebounds, 6 assists,
Well, he was
I like
always
that.
rebounding.
I like guys that do a little of everything.
Tough.
You know what he is? He actually, because I know he's been playing the 2, but we've been talking about having one of those big wings.
Yeah.
Like he actually fills that role. And when he came out last year, one of the things that I said I liked about him was that he didn't just score, he also got rebounds. So now you're getting another guy to contribute to those rebounds, and it's held up. And I tell you what, my other guy, Tyrese Proctor, hey, man, we might got 2 dudes that when we move on in a couple 5, 6, 7 years, them 2 dudes we might be okay.
Tyson was a late first-round pick, right?
20th overall. And and real quick, only because I literally saw this tweet a second ago.
Yeah.
Someone tweeted out was 2024 the weakest NBA draft class in a long time.
Right.
And it probably is.
Yeah.
If you redraft, there's a solidified 1 and 2.
Which is?
Stephon Castle in San Antonio and Alex Sarr in Washington.
Okay.
Tyson is either 3, 4, or 5. And I think you could switch those just in order of preference.
So he would have been a top 5 pick if you did it right now.
Preference, and I think he'd be as high as 3, depending on the preference of the player you're looking for.
Yeah.
He is, in my opinion, an undoubted top 5 player out of the draft so far.
And by the way,
good job of Kobe. We've been killing Kobe all year, deservedly so. But he looks like a great draft pick.
And to be truthful, he has now moved into their best tradable asset. If any team was trading with the Cavs, Jalen Tyson's name is in on the mix.
Right.
If you were like we're not talking about trading him because we're not gonna trade him. I mean, we're not doing that. But I'm saying when teams call,
I want him.
I want Jalen Tyson.
Right.
It's either him or Mobley.
The Cavs really haven't had a player like that.
Not at all.
And again, I don't think any of us want to trade him right now.
No.
You know,
No.
but
he ain't being traded.
Not at all.
Yeah. I mean, what's the ceiling here? How good can he be?
I mean, we kind of talked about this the other day.
Yeah, that's true.
He showed last night more playmaking than we'd seen because he took some of the reps that Mobley had been getting in the quote-unquote playmaker role. Every time they've asked him to step up and do more, he's not only met the challenge, but he's delivered.
You can tell.
He's built for these kind of moments.
You could tell, Mike, guys, like, this guy worked his ass off the offseason.
Yeah, he did.
There was no taking it easy. Like, you went from being, he was an afterthought. He didn't play a serious minute.
This is basically his rookie season. And
he played last year, but he was like, we're getting blown out. Let's throw him in the game.
He started one game, and it was game 82.
I knew that he took his offseason serious. The moment remember when he addressed the team and Donovan didn't say nothing. He did it.
Yeah.
Like the only way you could do that is if you put some work in.
But
not only did you put the work in, they have to see you putting that work in for you to be able to even get respect to do something.
Or he was really busting them down. He was really getting them out.
As a second-year player, and as Mike said, in Wade,
you go watch it.
He's playing in his first year as a legitimate player. And for him to make those comments, it is pretty outstanding.
Well,
it's a huge pause-worthy moment.
Jalen Tyson did make some comments last night that we're going to play for you in a sec.
All right.
Jalen Tyson, in the post-game interview, was doing it with Donovan. Him and Donovan are like this, by the way. They are incredibly tight. Donovan's kind of taking him under his wing.
Man.
George Sedano was asking Donovan a question. Jalen Tyson – no, Steve, give me the shot. Jalen Tyson said, "Can I have a word?" And Jalen said this.
In the franchise. Well, you can say something too. This is Donovan Mitchell City now. When he come back here, we're going to make sure that everybody root for him like they did for him. So this is his son. This is his city.
So Jalen said that. Bo, I see you smirking. I asked Jalen in the postgame about it. I said, hey, you want to elaborate on what you said? And it turns out in the immediate aftermath of Jalen saying those words, his phone got bombarded with people that were very upset with him. So he actually took a chance to apologize. I said, Jay, you want to elaborate? This is what Jalen said post-game when I asked him about that exact comment.
There was no disrespect there. I didn't want to disrespect or step on nobody's toes. Like, that's one of the greatest players ever played the game. Obviously, I was a Cavs fan growing up because of him, right? I didn't want to take away him, but I just wanted to give Don his flowers. That was my biggest goal in it. And if I offended anybody or anybody got mad about it, I'm sorry. I take personal responsibility, but I just want to give the man his flowers because we want to do the same thing that Bron and them did here. We want to do that with him as our leader.
Did you guys have any issue with Jalen Tyson? Because I had no issue with him saying
none whatsoever. Why would he apologize?
Well, first of all, he didn't have to apologize, but the syndicate called him. See, that's the syndicate called him like, hey, whoa, listen, we got a deal for LeBron next year. Don't even worry about that.
We love LeBron, but we got to kiss his ass?
No.
Come on.
We got a deal for LeBron. I know you didn't mean nothing, Jalen. Listen, I agree with you. I signed Donovan. I moved all kinds. But just let's go ahead and make that statement. We good. So LeBron gonna meet you in the hallway. Y'all gonna dap it up. Y'all gonna Bronny gonna get an autograph. And then you're going to change jerseys.
Ronnie's going to get an autograph.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever it means. And then we go out to one of these pizza places. Yeah, but we all good.
One of these pizza places?
This how the NBA be. Listen, it's only like 5 of them. NBA players is emotional. Super emotional. Yeah. LeBron might have invited him back over to his house to have tacos or something, just iron it out. But no, shout out.
It's Wednesday. It's Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, right? A day later.
My only thing is, out of this whole thing that we've been talking about, you ask questions, McNuggets?
They be didn't know that?
Questions now. You a media guy?
Where you been?
Yeah.
I didn't know you be actually in the press conference.
Of course. That's why Bull be busting his chops all the time. Talk about you afraid to say something about the Cavs. That's why.
That's why you be saying that. I knew he had access. I didn't know he was that tapped in.
You didn't know that.
You know, they let Earl ask questions too.
Mike loves asking questions in the press
conference.
They like
He and Kenny Atkinson are
Can
buddies.
I shadow you one day?
Man, they be all on
I
the
could go.
course.
Well,
They be on the phone.
I
They
can't
be on
because
the
then I
phone
gotta have
and everything.
credentials
Yeah.
and stuff,
Bull.
and I don't do that.
Yeah.
You know how you always give me props when Kenny answers a question and says my name?
Yeah.
Don did it last night.
Oh,
First time
Don.
Don
Hey, bro, you can't be saying.
First time Don did it.
Pause.
Yeah?
You can't be talking
What
about
did you
somebody
ask
said your
Don?
name. Say my name. Say my
I just said was it a
You
statement
is
win?
Destiny
And he's like,
Child.
you know what? I
Anybody
can't go
said
there
your
right now.
name?
Man, somebody said
You
your
asked him if it
name.
was a statement win?
I did ask him if he thought it was a statement win.
He said, Mike.
He said what?
He said, you know, Mike, I can't go there right now.
No, he's right. I didn't think it was a
Hey,
statement
you
win.
get that twinkle out your eye, McNuggets.
Look at here. He like, I done made it.
Can I say you got a little...
No, I've seen Donovan out in public.
Did you get a little aroused when that happened?
Donovan's come on the show like 4 times, so it's not like he doesn't.
Donovan's never been on the show.
You asked
reported
him a
him.
question about the Mets
Yeah, I got you.
one-on-one.
Oh, yeah, I did.
He
That's
has
right.
been on the show.
I
Forgot
he
about
has
that.
been on the show.
Yeah. You've
So did you,
seen
real
him...
quick, did you have any issue with Jalen Tyson? Because we got to the LeBron report in a sec.
Yeah.
Any issue with Jalen Tyson saying what he said?
No, of course not.
G. Bush, any issue with Jalen Tyson saying what he said?
No, he's supposed to say that.
I wish he would have stood on it.
He's supposed to.
I did too, Ty.
That's his man. Like that's his man. He's supposed to feel like that, he the best dude. He's sticking up for him, and also he's a smart business dude because somebody told him. He's like, listen, big homie in the building. Hey, listen, I could have a feeling that maybe Drake or Kendrick is the best, but when Jay-Z is in the building. You got big homie here, like you gotta show that love.
No, but he should have said it and doubled down and stood on it.
Yeah,
and
I
not
don't know
addressed
why
it because we trying to change the whole narrative of the identity of this team, and that there was like, oh yeah, they some dogs.
Well, Ty, you like this then, and I didn't put this in, and then we'll get to LeBron in 1 sec. But someone asked him, I think it was Ethan Sands asked him, like, hey, you've said LeBron was your favorite player growing up. What was it like guarding him? What was the mentality going into it when you heard you got the matchup? And he looked right into the mic and said, I fear no man. I was ready.
I like it.
That's what he's supposed to do.
You can respect an opponent without having to kiss their ass.
I agree.
He look, I'm telling you what. By the way, he's coming back to the spot. That's a good move by y'all.
Let's talk about that report.
That's a good move.
Because Dave McMenamin yesterday of ESPN was
good.
in Cleveland, and he put out a report saying, and I quote, team and league sources indicate the Cleveland Cavaliers would gladly welcome LeBron James back into the fold should he decide to leave the Los Angeles Lakers in free agency this coming offseason. Tyvis, you and I spoke before the show. Would you like to share what you told me a few minutes ago about the possibility of LeBron rejoining the Cavs?
It'd be nice as a role player or coming off the bench or something, but like he washed, man. I'll be the one to tell you. Yes, he is.
What?
He's washed. Did you watch him last night?
It was one game.
Man, I ain't hearing that. He been having multiple games like this. I mean, I know he averaged
you're out of
his
your
dub
mind,
and
man.
all that, but nah, man.
Tyvis.
No,
Why Tyvis?
We need when Darius go down and we need a point guard for sure. He can come in and do that thing right there, but nah.
Man, this is.
I take him back for a farewell tour, but like it's like the main guy that's over with. That's dead.
Hey, bro. Listen.
I'm serious. That's dead.
How come you got people in their prime not getting what LeBron getting? This is out of their. Listen,
Yeah.
Jared Allen ain't never averaged this. Darius Garland ain't never averaged this. Evan Mobley still
Ain't never
seen
averaged
this.
what?
This 22 points a game, 6 rebounds, and almost 7 assists, and 50% from the field this year, not last year, not the year before. This year, right here, right now, 50-year-old LeBron. What are we talking about? LeBron.
The guy that plays zero defense.
Hey, listen, LeBron don't.
The guy that had 6 turnovers.
He don't
last
have
night.
to play no defense.
What are you talking about?
You know what you need LeBron for? You need LeBron for 2 months in April and May. And
Have
June.
you watched him those 2 months in the last 2 seasons?
Listen.
The way he's done in the playoffs?
Let me tell
Was he
you.
bad in the playoffs?
Let me just
He
tell you.
ain't what you think.
He's not LeBron.
Yeah.
Hey, if he ain't LeBron, he's not a first-team All-NBA guy. He's not even a second-team All-NBA guy. But in spurts, LeBron James can be a top 15 player in spurts. And what the Cavs need is much more than just points, rebounds, and assists. They need the mentality and somebody that done been there. They need somebody that won't collapse when they need a rebound. They need somebody that won't say the lights was too bright because LeBron not going to let the lights be too light.
He can come on vet minimum.
Okay, here's the thing. It's unfortunate. We need to get a doctor to check Tyvis' head.
Thank you very much,
because he's out of his mind here. Of course, LeBron's not at the peak of his powers. He's 41 years old.
If he want to come,
he's still a top
vet minimum.
Mike, is he not still a top at least 30 player in the league?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Is he top 25?
Yes.
He could be top 10. It's
if
just
he wants.
not night in, night out.
Okay, yeah, fine. His numbers, I looked at his postseason numbers last. Now, can he put the team on his back like he used to? No. He's not going to. If you're not good enough, but can he put you over the top if you've got a good enough team? I believe he can. You can't rely on him to be your best player, but he wouldn't be. Well, look at these numbers.
They got guys.
He's averaging 22, 6, and 7 at 41. He's still shooting 50%. That's higher than his career.
That's wild.
I take him back on vet minimum.
That's wild.
Look at his and by the way, the only reason his probably is maybe not the points, but whatever, maybe the points. Like the numbers are down. He's barely below his career averages, and that's because he's playing less minutes.
Less minutes, it's different game, paces up, but he still can ram it up anytime he wants. Rev it up.
You're making him seem like he's a scrub.
And
listen, last night he was terrible.
Vet minimum.
But before that, he'd been playing great, right, Mike?
He's been playing good, yeah.
And
He's
guess
playing
what?
Awesome.
Washed as far. Tyvis.
Washed.
Washed
You're crazy.
Let me give you
Washed.
this. Now,
Washed.
And what would you give? And by the way,
Yeah.
and what would you give up for LeBron James if he came in free agency? Nothing.
Nothing.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Vet minimum.
Now the question is, would he do it?
I think he would. Jason Lloyd, friend of ours, friend of LeBron James's.
That's wild.
But no, legit. I mean,
go ahead.
I saw them interact yesterday.
Okay.
Whatever Jason says, they're friends. I
Yeah.
refused. Jason may downplay it. They're boys.
Did he dap him up?
We'll talk off the air.
Okay.
We'll talk off the air.
Okay.
But no, they're friends.
Yeah.
Jason wrote that if LeBron's going to come back and play another season, it has to be in Cleveland.
Of course.
It has to be.
He should announce he's retired. He's going back to the Cavs for 1 year.
That's it.
And he's
I
going to
agree.
retire at the end of the year.
I agree with you.
And then you keep Donovan, you ride it out because if there's a chance it's a disaster this year, maybe they would trade Donovan, but you obviously can't if LeBron's coming back. You go for it. You go for it 1 year.
I don't like how you attack me as if I said that no to any of that.
You called him washed.
He is.
No.
That's crazy.
As the best player in the league.
Well, nobody's calling him the best player in the league.
That conversation.
When you say washed, it means he can't play anymore.
You're talking basketball with a guy who thinks Giannis is the greatest basketball player ever.
Giannis is washed. He can't stay on the court.
He sure can't. It's a dang shame.
He's not washed either.
He's way younger than LeBron.
Yeah.
So, and the thing about it, see, this is not a joke. Like, let me just keep it real with you.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron is exactly what they need. The exact middle missing piece. Because it's not about the basketball stuff. It's the other stuff. It's the let me show you how to do this, son. Let me get you together. And then Donovan, think about it.
Yeah.
You got two dudes. Think about this. It's a game 7. You think LeBron James and Donovan gonna let you use?
No.
And again, listen, this is like swapping out your two-man team on NBA Jam.
Let me ask you this.
Your two-man was Evan Mobley and Darius Garland. Now your two-man is LeBron and Donovan.
And by the way, LeBron will still, if it was a big series, LeBron could still play defense for a big
Let me ask you
series.
this. You said if it's a game 7 with LeBron and Donovan, you wouldn't lose? If it's a game 7 with LeBron and Luka, would you lose?
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't. He can't make. Where round they get knocked out of last year?
But Luka.
Now you're right. That's fair.
No,
because Luka just came late in the season.
Is Luka a better player than Donovan Mitchell?
He is.
Luka Doncic.
So why are we sitting here acting like this?
Because the rest of the Cavs is better than the
I
Lakers.
agree with that statement for sure.
First of all, Luka ain't.
But don't sit here and say Donovan and LeBron would be unstoppable.
That's fair.
When Luka and LeBron are not unstoppable.
Well, Luka don't do a lot of things unstoppable. He need to stay. He can get his body in order.
Well, that's he's still better than Donovan.
Hold on, do this. You about to say something worse than what Earl said.
No,
Go ahead.
I am not. I'm just saying.
What you about to say?
I am saying that Luka Doncic before this was allergic to all defense. You see, it's a low line.
I hear you, but you just said it don't matter, and it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does matter.
When you're that good an offensive player, it doesn't matter.
Nah, I think it kind of matters.
All right, but listen. The
Luka
point is,
has taken his team further. You're
right.
anything
Let's
Donovan
have some
has
fun.
done.
Let's have some fun.
That.
Tyvis, you're right, fans. Tyvis is too negative. Let's.
Bull is learning how to get it. He understands it.
Let's have a little fun here. Let's say LeBron is on this team next year. It's Game 7, Game 7 NBA Finals against the Thunder. Who is your, assuming everybody have the same players on the Cavs plus LeBron, who is your 5 guys on the court the final 6 minutes of the game? What's your lineup?
This McNuggets.
What's the score?
So it's this current team.
Close game, tie game.
this.
But it's this current team plus LeBron.
Look how excited he is.
Yeah,
because he's going through advanced analytics in his mind.
Give me the advanced analytics.
Spacing.
I need 30 seconds.
He's got his player efficiency rating.
He's going to say
MacBook Pro out.
Donovan, Jalen, Tyson, LeBron, Mobley, and
Darius?
No.
Dang, your boy ain't on the floor?
No, because LeBron's the point guard.
And DeAndre Hunter?
Probably.
Or Max Strus?
Man, they got so many options.
I'll probably go Hunter.
Or slamming Sammy Merrill?
I go with the all-tall lineup.
Look how many options they
What about Sam Merrill out there shooting threes?
I got Mobley at the 5.
Or Dean Wade to play Dean. I don't want Dean Wade.
I have Mobley at the 5. I got LeBron at the 4.
Yep.
I got
4.
I got Donovan, only in spurts. I got Donovan Mitchell. I might be able to put DeAndre Hunter out there.
That's what I just said.
DeAndre Hunter.
So you're saying Mobley, LeBron, Hunter, Tyson, and Donovan?
Yep. That's my
Is that what you're doing? Is that your closing 5, Mike, or you got something else?
What you got?
I do have something slightly different.
Look,
you guys don't have DG in there. I think DG has to be in there.
He went to the.
I think he has to. But I agree. It's Don, Tyson, Bron, Mobley, and DG.
So you taking Hunter out?
Yeah, Hunter played well last night. It's the first good game Hunter's played in forever. I don't know how you guys have confidence in Hunter.
But they got shooting. They can space the floor. Each of those guys can break down the defense. You can play.
It's a tough lineup to stop.
It's devastating. And by the way, Mobley even makes LeBron look better because he can block shots and he can be an eraser. Yeah. So now you don't, and you can still cross switch and be like Jalen Tyson can cover a tough defender LeBron can get.
Now, how are you defending
Earl's
the Thunder in that situation?
In that situation,
like who's on SGA?
Tyson.
Jalen Tyson.
So Tyson's on SGA. Go ahead, give me the rest of it.
And if you're playing the Thunder, they usually have one non-scorer out there, which is why I'm fine putting DG out there. There's certain matchups where maybe I'd feel less, but DG could. Lou Dort's not taking anyone off the dribble. If they have Case and Wallace, I'm okay with DG matching.
How do you avoid them like trying to get those switches?
Every team's going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's where you have a guy like Bron and a guy like Mobley who are roaming to be your help side defender.
And if you're winning,
it's a great shooting team.
If you're winning, do you now take Darius out and put in another defender? Like, who's their best defender that's not in there right now?
Dean Wade.
No, he don't play in the playoffs. I can't play.
I'm just saying Hunter would be the next guy up.
All right.
But
he's good defensively?
No, he has not been good
defensively. Not this year.
Well, who's the next best defensive player, period, on the team?
Craig Porter Jr.
Greg Porter Jr., put him in there.
Well, I mean, Dean Wade is the answer, but you said Dean Wade.
Dean Wade can't be trusted.
Max Strus is a D. Yeah. He's a
So put Max Strus in there for Darius if you want. You get a 6-point lead.
Yeah, you can do that. And you have free throw shooting across the board there.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
What if Max
Although Mobley's not been very good shooting free throws.
But I will say this. In this hypothetical world where you add LeBron to the team, I don't think he would take the vet minimum. I think you get him for a mid-level exception. I think he understands he's no longer a max player. They're going to have to finagle something. It won't be this exact team. But if he is willing to take the mid-level exception, and the report from McMenamin that the Cavs would welcome him back in free agency, if those two things are true, there are absolutely 100% plausible ways to get LeBron James on the Cavs without destroying the makeup of this roster. It is not a pipe dream like it once was.
Right.
I don't think
it really take that, though. I don't know. If you're LeBron, your last year either has to be with the Lakers or here. There's no other options.
I'm in
Miami.
Nah, I can't.
No, I don't think the Lakers want him. I'll be honest. I don't
think the Lakers want him back?
But if the season starts,
if I'm Donovan, would you want that?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
But then doesn't it fall to the narrative that you can't win it without
don't care nothing
LeBron?
about
Can't.
He just wants to win.
I don't want to win.
Donovan wants to win. He's still the best
They
player.
better. This the best year to go for it,
Bro.
They better go for it.
And then after the year LeBron retires, and you probably trade Donovan, or is he a free agent after that?
Donovan has next year and a player option. I will report now he's going to
He's
decline
gonna opt
the
out
player
of that,
option
so.
and sign a new match.
All right, let's get to Super Chats. We're running out of time.
Yeah, we
here.
got a bunch. We'll probably go a little long today and read the rest of Super Chats into OT. I know we don't love doing that.
So no
but
official overtime.
No, but some of these are really good, so I want to
Okay.
make sure we get to
So
it.
we'll just go past one. Here we go.
Chef Shay says, McNuggets, it's still LeBron City till someone else wins a chip.
See what I'm saying?
McDoug, what did I didn't understand?
See what I'm saying?
What did
He
I
said
couldn't understand
It's
that.
still
Mike.
LeBron City until somebody win a chip. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
Like,
He then said another one said, I'm joking, not sure why everyone overreacted. Gotcha.
Cap.
Smooth STP says, Shedeur listens to Acho on Speakeasy. He will be sitting with Emmanuel Acho on Speakeasy.
That's true. Good point. That's a great comment.
yeah,
Love that
We got some
comment.
good ones today. That's why I want to make sure we read them all.
Don't do that, dog.
Rick Secker says, which is worse, the current Monken Schwartz drama or Medell firing Marty in favor of Carson and the disintegration of those good 80s teams?
Anything
Disintegration.
Modell.
I wasn't alive, so I
that
don't
was
know nothing
yeah.
about it.
Well,
Anything
the
back-
truth is,
What happened? Mardell
I
fired.
mean, I don't remember.
He
that.
Marty
I wasn't
Schottenheimer.
here. I don't know those details,
Hey,
but
man.
I will say that until he screwed the pooch and stole the team out of Cleveland, that Art Modell was highly thought of. He was a bad businessman, and the way he did it was terrible, terrible. He should have just sold the team to some. Well, anyway, but before that, he was considered a very good owner, and he was on the forefront of integration in the NFL, and there were a lot of good things about him. And
But-
then he just threw it all down the tubes.
But he got rid of Bernie Kosar. Then
Yeah,
he had
yeah.
Bill Belichick. Then he
Yeah.
moved the team, and
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
Marty. And
And so now we hate him.
Modell was the
Yeah.
one that fired Belichick.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
yes.
that was when they were already the Ravens, not the Browns.
Yeah.
The Browns
Oh,
did
okay.
not fire Belichick. Go ahead.
Smooth STP says, why are we acting like Monken wasn't interviewed 5 days before Stefanski? 5 days after Stefanski was fired, he was interviewed before Schwartz.
Okay.
Terrence
It's irrelevant,
Smith.
and I don't know if that's true.
Terrence Smith says, can the panel answer this? How is it that the legacy Cleveland media insiders never break news? It always comes from Adam or Ian Rappaport. Browns media is always retweeting it after the fact.
That's a very touchy
That has
subject.
nothing to do with Cleveland. Unfortunately,
They get a news to them
Schefter
first.
and Rappaport and those guys break almost all NFL news. It's not just Cleveland. It's in every market. It's very rare that a local reporter breaks an NFL story.
Explain that. Explain that to the people
Well,
why that is.
Isn't the agents in
It's,
with the?
it's a lot of the agents,
Yes.
a lot of the general managers.
Right,
I mean,
the agents are in.
Mary Kay had
They
a couple
call
of
those
scoops.
guys. And it's so stupid who gets it first because in football, Rappaport and Schefter basically get it at the same time. Those guys, whatever. Every once in a while, Albert Breer breaks something. Every once in a while.
And
if I-
Mary Kay had a couple. Like she had the Minter cancer.
Yeah.
interview
Mary
first.
Kay has broken a couple of
Yeah,
things,
she has.
by the way.
She has. And Brad Stainbrook.
So it
also.
happens every once in a while, but it's not a Cleveland thing.
No, it's a national thing.
It's rare that the local reporter. It's unfortunate.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
As a McNuggets, as a guy that's in the media, if you got the information and you was the only person that knew that LeBron was coming back to Cleveland, would you break it?
Hell yes.
I broke news once.
Well, even though they
You
told,
did.
what if he said?
I
What if
broke
he
news.
told you
Terry Francona?
specifically
That's right.
not to break that news?
Well, then
No,
you can't do it.
I wouldn't do it. But I mean,
Okay.
I told you guys Jalen Tyson was named to the Rising Stars Challenge 25 minutes before it came out.
Right.
Like-
So you had that news. Not to that. I broke the Terry
broke
Francona
the
news in
Francona
Cleveland.
news, yeah.
I was the first one to say. And then when it became official 4 days later, when they announced it 4 days later, first of all, when I said it on Bull and Fox, I said Francona is going to be the next manager of the Indians at the time, and people were like ripping me, saying you're because there was no rumors about it, nothing. It was completely off the radar. And people were ripping me, saying, you don't know what you're talking about. You're full of crap, blah, blah, blah. And then a few days passed. It hadn't happened. And then the news broke, and I didn't get any credit for it.
So,
which I'm still pissed off.
What I find is if somebody tell you something
They said
and you
had
can't
a
verify
hunch.
it,
It wasn't a hunch. I knew it. I had a good source on it.
somebody will tell you something, and I will be telling them as an opinion person, it does
Yeah.
me no good to be first to the party because if I'm only going to get dinged if I'm wrong.
If you're wrong,
yes,
yeah.
and because I tried to break news a second time,
Yeah,
and I was wrong.
Monte Ball.
Monte Ball, yeah.
What you do?
I said the Browns are signing Monte Ball as a free agent, and they did. I got bad information. It was two different sources.
Swing and a miss. One.
Listen,
By the way, I'll say this. I don't know if I've ever said this on the air.
Oh, Lord. Be with us.
I'm not going to say who it was, obviously,
goodness.
and I don't know if anybody in your audience would even know who the person is. But I will say that the person that gave me the Francona news was a woman that he was quite friendly with.
there we go.
That was his girl?
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Next super chat before Bull gets in trouble or gets anyone else in trouble. Sean Kruta says, as a Bengals fan, I want to thank the Browns for existing. Mike Brown looks smart by comparison. Hopefully the Browns don't get Patricia for their DC job.
Man, we beat y'all the last game of the year. You be quiet.
Black and White Acre
Nobody
says...
Brown. Nobody makes Mike Brown look smart. He's an idiot,
quiet.
too.
Black
He
Acre,
sucks also.
White Acre says the Sanders fam cut off their relationship with Emmanuel Acho years ago.
Smart.
And Rick Secker says, regardless of who
that a
became
fact?
the head coach, the offensive line needs to be rebuilt, and they need better weapons. No one was taking them to the Super Bowl immediately.
Correct.
Was they cool, Acho? Was that a thing?
I have no idea.
We just
I don't know
skimmed
either.
over
I don't know.
Oh, do we know that to be true?
Nothing about it.
I don't know. Bill Rodewalt says, could you guys do a topic on how players can use the offseason to prepare when a new coach comes in and there is no playbook? Tyvis, do you have any insight on that?
Won't they get won't he give them something almost immediately?
You'll meet with him. He'll tell you his philosophies and stuff. But OTAs is going to be mainly for the installs and stuff like that. So, like when you come in March, like you'll get the playbook and they'll have meetings every day. And before you even hit the field, you'll have like a lot of the stuff already. Because you'll walk through some stuff and stuff like that. So when OTAs start, you can just hit it.
So
and there's going to be new terminology and stuff like that.
Do the quarterbacks get okay, so it's a new head coach. If a new head coach coming in, will he immediately talk to any of the players like day one? Or they just
You think he's spoken to the quarterbacks yet?
Probably.
Okay.
I remember a lot of the times that's like the first call.
It's gotta be.
You got to talk to the quarterback.
All right, next one. James Mace says, Bull, if the Browns bring back Joe Woods as the DC, what's your reaction?
Man, come on, man. Man,
They
forget
won't bring back Joe Woods.
Come on, no part
Hey,
of
listen,
that.
Joe Woods had one really good year as DC of the Browns.
He did.
Joe Woods' problem is it was only for half a year, and it was
Yeah.
always the second half of the year.
Yeah, we can't. You're not going to bring back Joe Woods. Doesn't make any sense.
When they got torched by the Bengals fifth, we was looking for.
Was he
Jamar
here with
Chase.
Bailey Zappi?
We was
think so.
we was studying for Jamar Chase, but the third.
Yeah,
That
right.
was the worst thing I've
That
ever
was-
heard in my life.
That ended it for
That was the worst thing I ever heard in my life.
We was prepared for Jamar Chase.
Next
Yeah.
one.
I ain't never
Brody's
heard it
bottom
before.
line says, should the Browns try and sign Isaiah Likely and team up with Fannin? I do think that's a little more, no pun intended, likely now.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't mind that
At all.
I like it a lot.
If the Browns are going to get aggressive in terms of adding offensive talent, I would. Again, we've talked about this. I would try to trade for Michael Thomas Jr. and I would sign Romeo Dobbs.
Brian Thomas Jr.
I'm
Michael
about to
Thomas
say,
is
Mike
on the
Thomas
same-
back.
Mike Thomas back,
What is
Slim
wrong
Money
with
Mike.
Brian Thomas. Jeez, I did that twice. I would trade for Brian Thomas. He's my one. Jerry Jeudy's my two. And then I would sign Romeo Dobbs as my slot guy. And now, look, I've fixed my wide
That's a
receiver
hell of a
room. I
trade.
haven't had to spend any
You
draft
done- you
capital.
done with Isaiah
and then I can
Bond?
use the draft capital on tackles, and I sign a guard in free
Well, you'd
agency.
have to trade
also.
the 24th pick for Brian Thomas Jr., so you did use draft
Oh,
capital.
yeah. Okay, you're right. You use one. Yes.
And
But
then,
I see what you're saying.
and
You
then
know what I'm
Isaiah
saying.
Bond gonna run one route.
Yeah.
Get
Comes
open.
in, goes
He's
deep.
my fourth wide receiver. I cut Cedric Tillman.
Dang.
Get his ass out of
need
here.
5 of 'em.
Jamari Thrash.
They still got Corley.
Jamari Thrash, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
But boy, it's always one or two people that turn themselves into be good players after a new coach comes in.
Yeah.
But there's always two people that fall off.
Yeah, right.
Like they're
Well,
like,
that's a great topic idea.
Well, maybe he'll make Zach Zinter a player.
right.
Yeah, there you
Pick
go.
Wouldn't that be
pick
something?
one guy who's gonna show up out of nowhere and two guys that's just gonna be like have a terrible good
Zach
year.
Zinter.
All right, I'm going to write that down when you guys discuss the next Super Chats. Matt Dinkin says, why can't Haslam look at and run the Browns the same way he runs the Columbus Crew? They're one of the best organizations in the MLS. Torrance Smith on the same wavelength says, at this point it's obvious Jimmy makes all the major decisions, then stands back and waits while the others take the blame. It's all Haslam's fault. Jay Unique says Acho is one of the biggest Shedeur haters and one of the biggest Stefanski fans. Is that true?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
But it
don't
didn't
really
sound like
pay,
somebody that was a Shedeur hater.
I don't really pay attention to the guy.
Acho be said he be all over the place. I don't know. Like I can't tell you. Some people be having just crazy takes.
Yeah.
Like Colin Cowherd is the best.
Oh my God.
He's the best at him having a take, but he come on the next time and he'll act like that take never happened.
Right. He'll say the opposite.
And you'd be like, dang, that was a cold show. And somebody be like, no, he said this yesterday. And you'd be like, damn, he got me on that one.
James Dillard says Shedeur saw his old head coach keep the DC who catfished him. Boy, you're going to like this one.
What?
This from Brian Rizzo. Brian Rizzo. He says, stop trying to convince people this was a good hire, especially you, Bull. Yesterday you hated it. What happened? Did your boss give you a talking to? Glazer.
You sound like an 8th grade bully right there, Glazer.
I am not trying to convince anybody it's a good hire. I don't really like it, but I want to be fair about it and say that it's like draft picks. You don't know until you know, like until you see them play or coach.
At least, I've always hated this. I've always hated when people do this. Somebody will hire somebody, no matter who it is. It's Family Feud. Good answer. No, it's not. It's not on the list. When is the last time somebody said, you know what? I don't like this. Like I think this is a mediocre hire.
That is crazy. Sometimes I'll say good answer when you know it's a terrible answer.
No, good answer.
Words with the letter Q. Cheese. Good answer. Good answer.
I do kind of like the nickname Adam the Glazer, though. Like that.
I do not like that. What does that mean, Glazer?
Like glazing? No. Listen,
I'll tell you after
cool.
this.
I'm certainly not glazing. What's it? Todd Monken.
We'll talk about it after that.
Best glazed donuts.
It's an off the record.
Oh, I got it.
Ian Pressure says Monken should shift his focus to Anthony Weaver as the defensive coordinator. They have a relationship from their time together with the Ravens.
Is he with Miami?
He was talking. He was interviewing for some job.
He's interviewed for a bunch. He's not been hired yet.
Yeah.
So.
I'm so old. I remember Anthony Weaver always being on the free agent list for the old Maddens.
Wasn't Anthony Weaver here as a coach before?
It feels like everybody was.
He wasn't on Mike Pettin's
I don't remember.
staff?
I might have been. Yeah.
No, he was still playing back then, I think.
Anthony Weaver, man.
Bazzi C says this whole coaching search screams Jimmy Haslam. His comments about not being dysfunctional tell me that perception means more to him than reality. They wanted perceived stability instead of real improvement, and now the perception is you got neither.
Mm-hmm. You got bail.
Well, it's too early to tell. We gotta let the season play out.
Listen, here's the thing I always tell myself. If the quarterback starts playing
you're
well,
right. He did coach here under Pettin.
That's crazy.
Good job out of you, Tyvis.
You know, every now
2014.
Every now and then.
What are all the names people call you? Because you have an unusual name. And I remember the other day somebody called you something else, and you were like, people do that all the time. But what are the most common? Tavis?
Was that it?
What I don't understand about Tavis is, yes, Tyvis is an unusual name, but I never heard of anybody named Tavis.
You know, Tavis Smiley.
You know my grandparents.
You don't know who Tavis Smiley is?
Your grandparents call you Tavis? Mm-hmm. Oh, how come?
Because they have.
I don't know. I wonder if they actually know if my name is Tyvis.
What? How could they not know that? Your grandparents.
All my life, they always call me Tavis.
And you've never asked them why?
It's the accent. You know, we don't be.
It's the accent.
We don't be pronouncing all of our vowels and syllables like that.
The next two are funny. They go in conjunction. Saint Salvatore says, "Hey, Bull.
Yeah.
If anyone's got an issue with you, they got an issue with me too. Go Cleveland. Cavs on fire."
Thanks,
Next
San
one.
Salvador.
Torrance Smith says, "Looks like Bull paid for some positive bots in the chat today." LOL.
What's that?
Hey, for some positive bots in the chat.
Hey, Bull,
I did?
Bull used a lot of literary jousting today. I was surprised, man. He flipped it on a few dudes. He got Tyvis together. Got Big Doug. I like that, man.
Tyrone Bigsby says,
like that
the
name.
forcing Schwartz report may have been wrong. Original video says Todd Monken recruited Shedeur at Georgia, wanted to draft Shedeur in the 4th and 5th round with the Ravens, and now he's the head coach of the team Shedeur's quarterback won for. He's been trying to coach Shedeur for years. His dream finally came true.
His dream came true. Listen, that's so great. I didn't even say nothing like that. When you said another grown man's dream came true,
That's messed
do you
up.
know what dreams are for an old man? That's crazy work, but I put the list up.
Hard Pressure says, G and Ty, late ad for the wide receiver bracket. Tyron Montgomery, ex-basketball player at LSU. At John Carroll, he had 119 catches, 1,500 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's at the Senior Bowl right now.
Yeah, that's the dude they upgraded.
Everybody keep talking about him at the Senior Bowl.
We can't find no tape on him. Yeah. We got to find listen.
I'll text Sean Dunnigan, see if they have any footage from Channel 3 upstairs, because they've shot a couple games.
Yeah, let me see, man.
What's our matchup? What is it, tomorrow?
Nah,
or
man.
Is it tonight?
It's Makai Lemon today. Makai Lemon and KC Concepcion.
That's today?
Yeah, that's today, man. Okay. So Makai, this is a good one.
It is a good one.
Like last week was nasty work. Yeah. I apologize to everybody.
You know what's funny about Makai Lemon? He has a cousin named Lakai Melon.
Whoa.
That, you know what? See, now I'm gonna mess it up.
That would fit with the dad jokes they do upstairs.
Yeah, that would.
Last week was terrible.
We got a couple more. Black Acre, White Acre says Monken has no conflict resolution skill, which means he's not a leader.
How do we know that?
Jay Unique says Monken was at Georgia when they offered Shedeur. Nate Godwin says Shedeur fans want you to ignore him having the worst stats in the NFL. Ignore the draft, ignore free agents, just go all in with the sack and INT machine.
Nah, man, the NFL, they ignored it too. They put him in the Pro Bowl.
I'm going to plan watching it. Says in 2021, University of Georgia recruited Shedeur. You want to guess who was the OC at that time? His name?
I don't have to guess. We've heard it 4 times.
Hey, listen, the aunties they be ready. They say, "Oh no, they got his whole life story up." Pulled up.
They got it.
All right, we got 5 left. Five left. James May says if Jalen Tyson works on his left hand this offseason, we will have a Brandon Roy-ish kind of player next season.
That's a whoa. Hey, McNuggets, I threw Brandon Roy.
Brandon Roy was
I did.
Problem.
That's the second time.
Hold on now. I'm a Jalen Tyson fan.
I started that.
Whoa.
I started that time.
You got to cut that out.
Like his cousin, Brandon Boy.
Get him, Bull.
I'm just going to tell one terrible joke after the next now.
Brandon Roy
was
says,
different,
I
bro.
think you get substantially more motivated LeBron in Cleveland next year compared to what he's doing with the Lakers this year. A-Class says, Shedeur Sanders is like government cheese. Not good, but it's all we got.
You know what? I had to laugh.
What's your joke to that?
Oh, my God. That's funny.
Messed up.
That was – I had to I sent you guys that tweet where they played the video of like the joke of it was like Shedeur Sanders' voice talking about the Pro Bowl.
Oh yeah,
that was people are all sensitive, so I didn't put it on Twitter. But that was so funny. I know it's making fun of him a little bit, but it was funny. It's funny to make fun of yourself a little bit.
Hey, let me tell you this: if Shedeur Sanders is good next year and LeBron James in the same city, can you imagine?
My God, everybody else moved to Cleveland.
Could you imagine? Are you serious?
All right, we got 4 more. I'm going to read these quick.
City is
they're all
back
kind of
up.
funny
It's a
together.
must. We outside.
Where's Zero says LeBron's the floor general we need, and then these last 3 all go hand in hand. Audrey Garland says, how many wins did Tyvis say the Browns were going to get in Shedeur's rookie season? Travis is always out-of-pocket gaslighting. She called you Tyvis and Travis in the same
Travis, you're gaslighting there, Travis.
Yeah, you're a gaslighter, Travis. James Dillard says, that stuff Tyvis puts on his head got him tripping right now. And the last super chat comes from Gavin Day, who says, I love you, Papa Bull. I don't know who Gavin Day is, but Papa Bull Adam the Glazer is...
Papa Bull only...
First of all,
only Aaron can say
it's all
that.
natural.
If that man is not in your family,
it's all natural.
Listen. Oh, okay.
Wow, look at that.
He got the Muppet Baby joint going out.
Are you back? Are you at a forehead now? You have a forehead.
Yeah.
I was at a 5. I was on a finger. Forehead.
Yep.
Hey man, this dude. Listen, this is wild.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
I gotta pee.